round falter. This device is like a magic hat that you can put anything into. From priceless art masterpieces to entire tanks. Isn't science fascinating? Soon, we will be able to produce them on an industrial scale using Professor Quesada's drawings. This ingenious device creates pocket dimensions based on my unique properties. Just imagine what opportunities it opens up. You can move any volume of payload anywhere and whenever you want. Isn't it wonderful?
What's up, tankers? Let's get our teeth into the best scouts and raiders on tracks, or wheels. That's right, light tanks. To get the most from these nippy little vehicles, you'll need to practice and to brush up on view range and concealment. Not long ago, we did some videos about those, so check them out if you need to. The links are in the description. Lights are often quick and tricky to spot, and they can have high-caliber howitzers or even autocannons. Low-tier lights don't have rolls, and calling them scouts would be a stretch. They're versatile, and their characteristics can vary a lot, and so can their armor. You can fight in them like a medium or sometimes even a heavy tank. From about Tier 5 or 6 upward, that's no longer the case. At that point, you start getting some real niche specialists. They're raiders and scouts that spot for teammates. Lights also gain a shared trait. They can move without it affecting their concealment. Whether standing or moving, you still won't get spotted before the same distance. This vehicle class only has 2 roles: tracked versatile light tanks and wheeled ones. First, let's deal with the old faithful, and then later we'll get to the wheeled lights and how they differ from their tracked classmates. Light tank gameplay depends less on the role and more on your own play style. Think of it in terms of passive and active. Passive players settle in and capitalize on their concealment. Active ones monopolize the map with their movement. Any light tank can play both ways. You can set yours for either passive, active, or somewhere in between. So how do you prepare a scout for battle? First, a lick of paint. Any camo on a vehicle's hull boosts its permanent concealment bonus, which is vital for a light tank. The more, the better. Train crew perks that improve view range and concealment. Keep your radio operator on your radar. They have a few good perks that are very handy for light tanks. More perks than slots, in fact, so choose wisely. As for consumables, food ones will pad you out in all the right areas: view range, concealment, and firepower. Equipment can improve your scouting ability, making you harder to spot or boost your firepower. Mix and match to suit your playstyle. A good scout will want coated optics and commander's vision system mounted. For passive spotting or for mid-tier lights, consider binocular telescope. If you want a ninja on tracks, then mount low-noise exhaust system. If you also want to focus on shooting, consider something like a rammer or stabilizer. Improved ventilation gives you a little all-round boost. In place of turbocharger, you can equip the mobility improvement system respectively to bolster your ride that bit more. Make sure you research field modifications to build up 2 loadouts for different maps. For example, the first would have coated optics, commander's vision system, and low-noise exhaust. And the second would have ventilation, stabilizer, and gun rammer. That way you'll feel right at home, whether you're playing on Prokhorovka or Himmelsdorf. Phew! We've finally set up our dream light tank and are eager to head into battle. But what should you do in battle? How can you contribute? First, look at how many other lights are in your team and where they're headed. Scouts should spread out across different positions and even flanks. In the first minutes of battle, do some initial spotting for your team. Your teammates will really appreciate knowing how many opponents are on whichever flank. To spot enemy vehicles, you need to quickly get to a place that lets you see their approach route. To do that, you need to know the maps and remember the routes tanks take. It's safest to spot from bushes, but I came, I saw, I fled tactics can work too. That way, you'll likely get spotted. Just the time to remember how to rally drive. Then you can find a bush and spot from there. It's safer. If necessary, move from bush to bush, approaching or fleeing if there's danger. A moving light tank's non-reducing concealment comes in really handy for those short bursts. When you approach bushes, don't forget the proximity spotting circle. If you want to scout, you need to know about this. So how do we know where's the best to spot from? Look at where your teams and the enemy's light tanks are located, and remember the positions. For example, on steps, it's usually best to take a central position. On Lakeville, you should be on the central line or near the town. On mines, the bushes, both on the hill and in the water, are best. On Prokhorovka, you want the line of bushes on the alley or the hill if your team has enough lights on the alley. On Outpost, head for the bushes in the middle of the lake. Those are just a few of the well-known bushes, but all these maps offer light tanks plenty of ways to play. Commit good positions to memory and get experimenting. Don't forget, a felled tree is as good as a bush. And you can fell them yourself with HE shells. Remember that the thorn in a light tank's side is another light tank. You can throw a spanner in the enemy's scouting works by spotting them and destroying them. And you can stop them doing the same to you. Remember where you've seen enemy light tanks and think about how to beat them. Pure scouting is only an option on open maps. In urban locations without bushes, you'll have to come to the aid of mediums, dodge the enemy, and cause damage. Lights with autoloaders or auto cannons are great at this. You can't go wrong with big damage in a short time. Although lights are very vulnerable, they can trade hits too, but carefully and with immaculate timing. If you're hiding in the bushes spotting, think before letting that gun rip. Firing drops your concealment to scary lows. Make sure you have a strong exit strategy. As promised, let's end with wheeled lights and how they differ from versatile tracked ones. Vehicles in the EBR branch have a poor view range that stops them from scouting passively at a distance. But they do have good concealment, high speed, and wheels galore. Even if one or several of them are damaged, you'll still be able to get about. That's why wheeled lights are active Scout Supremos. They draw fire and dance under a storm of shells, lighting the enemy up in the process. At the higher tiers, wheeled lights have 2 movement modes, rapid with excellent top speed, and cruise. In cruise mode, the tank uses all its wheels to whirl like a dervish. These wheeled tanks pack penetrative HE shells that tear paper-thin enemies to shreds. Basically, wheeled tanks are very active, aggressive raiders. You'll need a very particular set of skills and practice to play in them, though. If you're less experienced, learn standard lights first. And that's it. Share this video with a friend who can't last a minute in battle. See you on the battlefield.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Well, hello there, and welcome to, once again, the AMD Onslaught Legends Series Season 3. And I'm being, once again, joined by Ducky. How are you doing?
I'm chilling, Kian. I'm looking forward to our playday here on this Tuesday, 20 of May. We have a little bit left for this Onslaught Legends Series Season 3, sponsored by AMD. So we have today's stream, we have Thursday's stream, and then we get into the nitty-gritty, and this we'll see who becomes champions in both respective North America and Europe. That is on Saturday and Sunday, and Kian already teased there might be some juicy things to watch out for there as well.
Absolutely. Now, talking about juicy things, we do have Twitch drops enabled, so if you haven't already, do refresh your stream to start claiming the 5 OLS tokens that are up for grabs today. And with all of the OLS tokens that you accumulate, you'll obviously be able to exchange those for some goodies in the in-game OLS token store. Premium tanks, 3D styles, 2D styles, directives, premium days, consumables, or expirable reserves. I think there is absolutely something for everyone.
Yeah, there's indeed everything your heart desires, and then some as well. And it is going to lead into the bundles, which are still available, which will also boost the price pool. We have updated it as well. You can see the bundles that are still available: the supporter base, the supporter advanced, or the supporter trio. If you're a fan of camos, the trio is the one I would recommend, because you get up to date with Season 1, Season 2, and of course Season 3.
And if you managed to predict correctly in Season 2, then obviously the red style that was up for grabs then as well, you'll be able to upgrade that one too. Little disclaimer, 100% of the proceedings from those bundles are going into the prize pool, so if you like what you see, and if you want to kind of honor the work and the effort that the players put in, do consider purchasing those. Currently, the OLS prize pool, thanks to y'all and Wargaming that put up the first 20,000 euros, we are at a whopping prize pool of 56,954 euros. Obviously, likely to increase still. I think the bundle sales will be stopped the morning after the OLS finishes.
So, then we move into the OLF, where we have a $15,000 prize pool as well for the teams that are going to be competing it out on, I think, Saturday and Sunday both, right, Kihan, if I'm not mistaken? We have Indeed. The grand finals on, I'm just talking about the streamed aspect. We are seeing some on Saturday and then the finals on Sunday for sure, which are going to be in a best of 11 format, right?
I think so, yes. So that'll be quite the large matchup, and of course for the OLS, we'll also knock it up a bunch. Currently, though, we are still in phase 2, and there we have best of 7s. Talking about the number 7, there will be an AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D for every single one of the players in the winning OLS team. Very, very good chip, and hopefully it'll make their great performance even better.
We'll see about that one, though. Now, moving into the standings, not much has changed from the previous play day that we had before. When we started that one, Hit and Run and Cashback are still on top of the league. They are doing very, very well in that regard, but that will change today, Kihan. One of the two will be undisputed first. No round difference or whatever, straight points.
Exactly, and then after that, both of those obviously on 26, there are the teams of W and Mafia, who are also confirmed to be in the playoffs now, but the thing is, the matches that we have still to come today and on Thursday are going to be important nonetheless. Obviously, Cashback versus Hit is going to be, at the end of the day, the banger to watch out for. The winner of that one will be likely also the winner of the regular season, and that will, of course, determine the seeds moving forward for the playoffs, which can be extremely important. First of all, though, Yogurt against Mafia, and both of those teams have something to play for. As I said, for Yogurt, for them, a victory would be very important to put them into prime position for place number 5, which is also money prize pool as well as being confirmed for OLS Season 4. And for Mafia, I mean, as I said, for them, it's all about seeding. It's all about placements for the playoffs.
Indeed. So not just placement for the playoffs, but also the Yogurt with the 7% win percentage. They really want the points, Kihan. They're currently, I think, 1 behind Darkside, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But they really would like to beat Mafia because 4 points will put them 3 ahead, which buys them a little bit of breathing room for the match that is still to come, right? I think on the final play day, Darkside is facing off against Yogurt, which will potentially decide that place number 5.
Now, though, Kono for Mafia, he's been showing up with the pen rate, with the KD. The average damage, to be honest, not the highest. Then again, he's playing a lot of light tanks, EBR and RHM, and normally those don't do as much. But yeah, KD, very good, pen rate as well, and it comes to show that Kono, when it comes to pressure situations, he's able to make those shots count.
Extremely potent is Kono, but especially on that EBR when he's playing it. But on the first map of the day, after Ghostan and Suzyanki have been removed, Himmels unlikely to feature any of those French-wheeled light tanks. Instead, we're going to be getting those more heavy yum setups. After Himmelsdorf, Pilsen will potentially bring the EBRs out for Mafia. And then we have Sand River and Westfield being removed, going into Morovanka. Now, this is an interesting pool, Kihan, simply because of the fact that there's a lot of different paces in there. You know, Himmels is relatively not that fast, if you think about it. However, Pilsen, a bit slower, and then Morovanka can be super explosive.
Talking about explosive, the tiebreaker might also deliver just that. If we get there, Cliff, just about one of the fastest maps in the pool, has been since essentially the beginning of time. But yeah, we're going to start off on Himmelsdorf. We have seen some slower games on it, but there is also the possibility to play very fast. That mostly happens when, well, both teams book it towards the middle with like T57s, 268s, shenanigans like that. You can also mix in a couple of Forge Bs. We've seen E100s. The mouse actually not so popular on Himmelsdorf. But that being said, we have seen a lot of teams this season especially come out with very, very, let's call them special tactics, cooking strats, and more often than not, those seem to work actually, just because it's something very, very new and very fresh, where the opposing team doesn't really know how to respond.
Predictions from the casters. Phil, Kihand, and myself going for the 4-1, and Moff really trying to catch up there with the 4-0.
Yeah, Moff, I mean, he's down bad. So he really does need points. Feels like a Clan Wars campaign, to be honest. Both you, me, and Phil kind of going with a safety prediction, because let's be realistic, Mafia is to be vastly favored in this matchup. And Moff saying it's going to be the quick, the brutal knockout. It's going to be a 4-0 victory for Mafia. I mean, there's always the possibilities that something like this comes to pass, but I think especially in this phase 2 here with the best of 7s, the amount of clean sweeps that we've seen was not crazy high.
The good thing here for Yogurt, Kihan, is that they played against the last 2 matches, I think Cashback and Hit and Run, right?
Yeah, and I think they went 0-8.
But Cashback and Hit and Run are far more aggressive teams than Mafia. Mafia is not the kind of team to run it down, I think, on Yogurt. Now, we saw that Yogurt is not really able to handle it when they get run down. Mafia, we talk about it quite often, is more of a control team.
Yeah, maybe a bit better suited towards the playstyle of Yogurt. Then again, we've also seen Yogurt struggle in those mid and kind of late game scenarios where it's about, well, individual decision-making and calls to be made. During some of the past matches that we've seen, they kind of fell apart a little bit in that scenario. And for the players of Mafia, I mean, they are very well versed in these. So I think Yogurt, if they want to have a chance in this, then Himmelsdorf can be a good pick, because Himmelsdorf is one of those maps where you can really surprise your opponent by opening and then put them into an unrecoverable situation. Now, there is a lot of ways you can do this, and there are even more ways that this can go horribly wrong. But, well, I guess the games soon are going to show us what exactly is going to come to pass.
I'm curious to see what we can bring. I'm having flashbacks to 268 driving down the middle. I don't think we'll be seeing that. Although, you never know.
I mean,
you never know, right? Who was it? Was it W? Yeah, it was W against Cashback driving like 268 straight down the middle, right?
Mm-hmm. And it ended up kind of looking cool, right? So, let's see what we'll see there. Also, the fact that like E3, Z4s haven't really been played that much is kind of weird to me on Himmelsdorf. I think there are quite a lot of hold-down positions where you could situate one of those tanks, especially since, well, 375 pens against the likes of E100 turrets that have been pretty recently buffed. The 375 APCR, it just does not care. It just goes straight through.
But 375 APCR still has those funny moments, though. APCR has those funny moments. There's a few tanks. I think the most APCR-proof tank I can think of, in a way, is the 60TP.
Yeah, that is just because of the way that the angles on that tank work, right?
It's so annoying. You aim at the lower plate of a 60p, you hit the upper hull, you're bouncing. You hit the belly, you're also bouncing.
Sounds like someone is scarred from past occurrences. But yeah, we had a little bit of a tech delay, but I think now we're just about ready to jump into the first game in between Yogurt and Mafia here. As we said before, a lot on the line. I think even a lot more on the line for Yogurt right now than for Mafia, because like we've seen in Season 2 that you can have a miracle run in the playoffs, but we've also seen in Season 2 that if you don't requalify directly, then you might be out of it completely. Talking about LTP. Very unfortunate occurrence there. But let's go finally. Mafia starting off on Himmelsdorf. W100, 1 Bliskowitzer, and quadruple Foch B. Make that triple as 1 Centurion gets switched in.
Yogurt in return though. Quad 50B, a Mouse, a 1-1B, and a Bliskowitzer. Maybe they're gonna turn on the heat, Kihan, because 450Bs has to push.
450Bs has to push, but realistically, the tanks by Mafia, they want to get pushed, if you look at it that way. Except for the Centurion, that is very vulnerable in such a scenario. They really have tanks that don't mind that much getting pushed by those 50Bs. As we see Orzhek driving towards the middle with that Centurion, so kind of the soft underbelly of Mafia being exposed here, but now the jig is up. All of the tanks by Yogurt are exposed. Orzhek deciding to stick it actually does not start running away. Let's see if that one is going to be the correct call to make, as both of the E100s are going to come to try and help him. The damage so far on the 50Bs is substantial. Mindbreaker immediately down and out.
Yeah, the issue here for the 50Bs is that they're running into Foch Bs. The French Tank Destroyer Kihan does not care about facing 50Bs, simply because it has that heal ability and 2 extra shots that it likes putting onto those 50Bs. HP wise, it is still pretty even between these two, but you gotta take into account there's an extra gun for the side of Mafia, so they would need to find YOLO or Orzhek, and they're doing just that. They do find YOLO, and now Profuse and Bark is trying to roll in. They will find Ramadek out in the open, and you can see the damage ticking in from multiple angles. Kono with the finish, and Anaban's now surrounded as well in the Bliskowitzer. Kono coming in, Bark is coming in. Surely that is going to be this Bliskowitzer down and out, getting tracked, getting held, getting deleted, but not quite actually, as he will survive. And Yogurt now down 2000 HP are trying to do something here. The good thing for them is that Anabans is still alive.
Anaban's still alive. The Juggernaut ability coming in clutch, and now Yuzek is reloaded. This means that Depressed is actually quite a bit of trouble. The 50B is faster, but he has quite the way to make until he does end up getting away from that E100. Anabans finally, the Foch B coming in for the kill shot here, does get it. So Mafia once again playing up a gun. Is the other one of the 50B going to fall? Not quite yet, as LeVay starts getting pushed by the Bliskowitzer of Profuse. That puts in a big 750. The retaliation coming through, putting that Bliska on towards a one-shot. shot, though. This is not over quite yet.
Surprised that the press did not try to go for the strike. Quick there in the mouse, needs to hold the angle. The press spots out Barkis, and Barkis actually finds the kill, which is a mistake from the side of Yogurt. He should not fall there. Now Quick getting pressured by Yuzik means that Love has to come in as well, but the biggest problem for them here is that Barkis has still around 1700 HP and a lot of shells available, finds them against Love. And you know, the Forge B Keyhand is a very, very good tank of Kuno with the strike for an endgame scenario such like this.
Absolutely, and now for Yogurt, it looked kind of okay after the opening, but once again, in the later stages of the battle, the individual calls and decisions coming to hurt them. So I think the strategy that came out, especially against what Mafia did, it was all right. However, I think the full commitment with the 50Bs wasn't quite there. They should have tried to immediately go for the Centurion and the double E100. Obviously, for me, that's easy to say because we kind of saw the whole opening by Mafia as well. But if you do something like this, you just need to straight and blind commit. Doesn't matter what tanks get spotted where. As soon as you see that Centurion and maybe an E100, you just need to go, because those Foch Bs that are coming from the 8 line are just going to be the undoing of your team, and that is what we see right here. Mindbreaker only able to do a single shot of damage before he got eliminated.
Yeah, but 100% pen ratio though, you know? At least he's keeping up with the stats. But yeah, the Forge B's just a superior tank than the 50B in this regard. I think for Yogurt's sake, they were hoping, or anticipating that either it's a 1-2 push with something in the middle, which they can catch the guy going in the middle, or there is at least a tank going hill. Nothing less was true.
Exactly, and so the tanks that are supposed to kind of stay at the front and tank the damage, which is not the 50Bs, those end up doing the damage, and that means something has gone completely wrong. Something went not as intended for Yogurt, and we were, well, very easily able to see that that was absolutely true. So as the dust settles, a pretty close round, but Yogurt is not going to be happy with the result because, well, if you lose the round, you don't get a point for it. It doesn't matter how well you did or did not perform. And Mafia might be like, all right, they're coming out with the cheesy strats, but in the end, we are the better players.
Yeah, it's good for them because they had all the tanks located in the same area, and the 50Bs are running headfirst into E100s, and it's like, that's double E100. You know, it's hard to focus out one E100, let alone when there's two of them next to each other. But that was the first round of Himmelsdorf done and dusted. Yeah, phase 1 was not a good one for Yogurt. They're going to try and do better than that.
Exactly, 3-0 the score in phase 1, where Mafia, I think, just calm, collected, business day as usual. Went through, and the thing is, Mafia is one of those teams, they really struggle against the likes of, let's say, Hit and Cashback, but against the, let's say, not top-tier teams, they do very, very well. It's not like Cashback this season that ended up dropping points to Yogurt, for example. A team like Mafia, they normally win the matches they should.
I'm just wondering if Yogurt will try something like this again. Or they decide to go for something else, and let's see what the answer is. So this time around, a little bit more balanced lineup from Yogurt in E100, double for TDU, double for B, and double E4.
For Mafia, though, we have the singular V4, double 268, double Foch B, a Bliskowitzer, and a 121B. So the double 268, I mean, we keep talking about this tank. I think the 268 is like the embodiment of Onslaught right now, is when stuff works for you, then it ends up working great. But if you start off badly, then it really goes down the gutter.
Full 1-2 from one side, full 1-2 from the other side. It's been a while since I've seen this key hand. Can't remember it, actually. When we saw both teams duking it out on the 1-2-3 line. I mean, there's an even 100 on the 5 line, but he will join rather quickly, you would assume.
Exactly. Rachmedik in the E100 on the offside is kind of waiting there right now for possibly a push down the 5 and 6 line, but we obviously do see that this is not going to happen. Rachmedik now is going to keep W pressed, just like those Foch Bs that are in the 1 line. Kono already had to use his ability. This might come to bite him later. Quick out in the open. The same goes true for him as Licker gets focused out by Orzhek and Kono. So Quick and Licker, both of them very low in HP, are going to be able to heal a little bit though, but now the abilities have run out. Quick able to heal above 400, but I think Kono has more than 1 shot remaining, and this means that Quick is going to be the first victim for Yogurt.
Yeah, but Yogurt has done a good job at doing damage. They're up quite a bit right now. They're just in problems of losing guns because Mindbreaker is going to fall against Profuse, and they need to somehow get a gun out of the game for Mafia. Mafia, of course, with the Perma Inspire and a lot of damage on Rachmedik. 2.7 to the face, and another one coming out. You know that keeping on toes for the HP, I take it back. They're now starting to feel the pain of the 268 DPM train.
Indeed, YOLO now coming in, putting a stunner in towards the back of the E4 as well. That is Amorax. So obviously the 268s are going to be reloaded before that. Anabans falling to the grave, to his demise, and Mafia still with 7 tanks available. They are getting the snowball rolling. Only LaVey left standing, but not for long.
That is a quick 2-0 for Mafia. In the beginning, you know, Yogurt was keeping on even footing, but it starts spiraling for them once they lose that first gun, the second one, and then the 268s are rolling, and that poor E100, he felt the hurt. But once the ball gets rolling 2 guns down in a fight, it's hard to recover from, especially when it's, again, important guns that you're losing, which is a Foch B and a 430. Every gun technically in Onslaught is important, but some are just more important than others. And this Inspire is really working out for Mafia though. Profuse 4.4k damage, but not just 4.4k damage, right? Also the Inspire, it doesn't tell you anymore just how much damage he inspired, which is also not really important, but you gotta remember it's a big boost to the crew skills.
Absolutely, and I mean the 268 DPM is already off the charts when it has the ability active and he starts hitting the shots, but with that Inspire on top as well, they completely go out of control, and it also helps those Foch Bs, right? When they are in sort of the frontal engagements against the opponents, having that aiming circle be a little bit smaller to just be able to really make those cupola shots hit is not a bad thing. And so Himmelsdorf, the map pick of Yogurt, completely going Mafia's way, 2-0, 2 pretty quick rounds, especially the second one, and now things are probably not going to slow down, Ducky. We are headed to Pilsen.
I feel like it's going to be slower than Himmelsdorf. You know, if you think about it, the 2 Himmelsdorf rounds that we just had were relatively quick. Pilsen, the only way you get a quick Pilsen out is if they go for the cap. And let's be real, this was a thing in Season 1, playing cap. Season 2, meh. Season 3, playing the cap, not anymore, to be honest. We barely see it, and it's so hard to pull off.
It's so hard to pull off. Then again, I mean, if people are getting comfortable with that way of thinking, like, hey, the opponent is not going to cap anymore, that's a Season 1 or Season 2 thing, then it might just work, because teams might not train against it that much anymore. And judging by what we've seen from Yogurt so far, they are looking for immediate engagements, because they probably feel like in a long and drawn-out engagement, they are going to be on the short end of the stick. And the only way to really do that on Pilsen is, realistically, cap pressure.
I mean, I just don't think that we will be seeing cap pressure at all.
Also, I think Pilsen is kind of the only map where the EBR has overtaken the RHM in popularity.
EBR is also very popular on Sand River, no?
Yeah, although on Sand River it also feels like people are just playing without light tanks at times altogether. And Mafia immediately going with the EBR together with 1268, a 4-speed double mouse, IS7 and E100. Very, very heavy from the side of Mafia.
Yogurt in return though, double 4B and RHM, double 4TDU and AX and a mouse, not quite that heavy, and we've seen these heavy lineups work out, Kihan, but you gotta remember they're very, there's a big lack of maneuverability there on the Mafia side, so they do have to find good plays over time.
And also in the lineup of Yogurt, in those drawn-out engagements, if Mafia doesn't get to focus out the correct tanks, which in this scenario would probably be the 430Us, then those can really spiral out of control. This time we see YOLO with that 268 waiting here for the cross of the tanks of Yogurt. Mindbreaker getting spotted, but no damage dealt so far. Good shot by Kono though in towards Quick.
It also gives him, again, the ability. And yeah, that's why the EBR is so popular on Pilsen as well, right? Because it can make those quick plays in the field.
Ooh, he does get punished, though, by, I believe, Lovey. And what he doesn't see is Mindbreaker and Depressed in those 430Us. But I think Kono, after taking that first shot, is like, alright, Conrad, you handle the situation. I'm out of here. He does indeed drive back towards the zero line, where there is double Force-B by Yogurt about to roll up. And it feels like we've seen that double Force-B on the zero line before, used to great effect. But that time, there were bad shots there. This time around, Mafia only has the EBR, so that is a lot of resource, a lot of assets committed by the side of Yogurt, and still they're taking a lot of damage, it seems, on the field, even on Mindbreaker.
The 268 covering, though, of YOLO immediately, 762 into the press. It's a good shot there. And you know, the 268 covering is kind of nasty, Kihan, because it is able to do those shots and cover with DPM. And we talked about Mafia's lineup being slow. They have pushed across the middle, Kihan, and they have found Ramedic in his mouse.
Exactly, the double super heavy pincer attack on towards Arachnidic in the mouse. Yuzek is very happy to trade it out as Barkis rolls around the corner, is going to kind of kill steal that one, and so Yogurt pressured into a response. Conrad seems like he has overextended completely, gets blown away by a lot of guns from Yogurt.
YOLO's now running away. I mean, Conrad was always going to die, right? But he was only, how to say it, supposed to delay them long enough. And if we look at the HP key, 5,000 up, I'd say Mafia has done a pretty good job at compensating for the loss of Conrad. They also have the cap. Like, look at the split right now. They have the entire 5 line. They could put Kono on the cap whenever they want to and just pressure it out. And how does Yogurt get back in this?
That is indeed the question. Depressed also not down towards one shot in the 430U. It just feels like Mafia have dealt more damage, especially since you can actually see the bar increase. The HP bar of Mafia as one of the tanks with the healing ability had that one active. I think that's the first time I actually consciously see that bar, like, not smallening, is that a word, but growing? Shrinking would be the word. And there we go. Quite funny to see that. But the other bar that's also increasing is the capture bar for Mafia in yellow. 1 minute and 17 seconds. And the thing is, Yogurt, they have one strike available, but the artillery strike on the field is actually going to take a while to recharge.
Triple on the cap now, and we talked about it. Yeah, there's no strike. Oof, YOLO is going to get pushed by Anabans, and Anabans needs to ram here, Kihan. They do have a strike on Quick to get a 1 reset will, but Anabans needs to ram. I think he missed the ram. I think he hit the building because it was hidden in a tree, and he cannot clip out YOLO because, well...
I think he should be able to, no?
Kihan?
Okay, well, he will need one more... Yeah, they capped. Well,
I thought they had a strike.
I also thought they had a strike on Quick. That one must have missed. So very unspectacularly, but also very effectively. We were talking about the cap strategies. Mafia is going to steal one away.
That doesn't count as a cap strategy. That doesn't count.
Well,
that wasn't the goal of the strat, though. I swear Quick had a strike, or it showed him having a strike. So I was like more focused on the 268 dying, because once the 268 dies, I think the field strike would reset, and they would have maybe time to do it once more, depending. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely showed the RHM with a strike, and even then, like, assuming he didn't have one for some reason, there should still be something by the side of Yogurt that should be able to drive into the cap to stop the capture, or, you know, at least provide resets from the outside. So some sort of oversight going on the team of Yogurt.
Slightly anticlimactic, but
well,
3-0. It's weird though, Kihan. In the beginning of the season, everybody was so close to each other, and then the season progressed, and now we're back in the territory where you can see real differences between the teams.
Yeah. Maybe some of the, let's say, not so top tier teams using up all the good strategies early to be able to secure their spot in phase 2, and then kind of running out of steam. Although that is also like weird to think, just because, well, there was a big break in between phase 1 and 2, so normally they should be able to kind of come up with new stuff. But yeah, this is going to mean that Mafia, even though they lost 2 tanks and Yogurt only lost 1, the base capture means that Mafia only have 1 more round to win against the team of Yogurt that realistically stood a chance in the first round, but after that, not so much.
Maybe Moff was a visionary. I bet he's sitting there, you know, like...
Yes. Excellent.
Excellent. Finally! The tears will be just as sweet if Yogurt win the next round, Kian. Maybe even sweeter.
Man. If Yogurt wins now, Moff is gonna be like... We're gonna have to put that man on the watch, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
I'm quickly just checking what the point situation is looking like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Phil didn't update it.
I guess we should ask Phil to update the prediction points for the casters, so we can...
I think you're 1 point ahead of Phil and 2 points ahead of me. I think that's how it looked like.
All right. I think, yeah, the prediction yesterday for... 2 days ago for W to win 4-2 is what really...
It brought you back. It brought you back. It's 2 points for a right prediction that would put you 2 points ahead of me and 1 point ahead of Phil.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I think the playoffs will make the difference there.
They might. They might. But yeah, now we go into what might be and what Moff's hopes will be the last round of the match. Yogurt, it's going to be a mountain to climb if they want to come back into this. And what we've seen so far from them doesn't inspire a lot of confidence within me. Then again, for the sake of the match, for the sake of our prediction, and, well, for the sake of Yogurt, I also just hope that they don't get rolled, because this would mean 3 playdays in a row where they go 0-4.
I mean, at least they're consistent, right?
I guess if you want to take that as a silver lining.
I mean, it's consistency one way or another, Keyhand.
Yeah. I don't think they would be happy with it, but let's see. It is partly in their hands, and once again, Mafia are going to be choosing that EBR, together with this time a 60TP and IS7 double mouse, double Foch. That is once again very heavy from Mafia.
Well, I changed the winning tactic. Yogurt, on the other hand, RHM, double Foch, double for 3U, an AX and a mouse. They didn't really change much. Did they have an Inspired Medium last round?
Yes, they did. So I think it is just the same lineup once again by Yogurt, being played from the other side. Not that it makes a terrible amount of difference, in my opinion. The map is kind of mirrored. So once again, Yogurt are going to be sending a lot of tanks towards the field. This time, no 268 by Mafia aiming, and Kono with a very, very deep spotting run once again is successful in spotting out a lot of tanks. He does see the force now, so essentially everyone by Yogurt is spotted. Kono even doing a shot of damage here. Does take one in return though. So maybe a little bit of an overextension, because one shot of damage on towards the Foch is never worth taking damage in the EBR for.
And Ramadik already again in that mouse being pressured through the middle of the map. Needs to be very careful. I think this time around he should be reversing and backing off and not getting caught, because it could be the same story for him 2 rounds in a row.
We can see the triple super heavy by Mafia slowly but surely starting to encircle Rahmedic in that mouse of his own. This time, however, a reaction is coming through by Yogurt, sending the Forschby and the Centurion as well as kind of supporting firepower for that mouse. But already we can see Rahmedic taking damage, and the 60 TP hasn't even arrived. Conrad still sticking around the center of the destroyed factory, so once again it's going to be Yuzek and I believe Profuse in the heavy tanks of their own, although Profuse has taken a lot of damage for this peak. This is what is pushing Rahmedic in towards shooting Yuzek, and also Licker was able to do quite a few shots in his Forschby, but still Rahmedic on the receiving end has less HP, and Yuzek, the wall, once again is starting to edge ahead in the mouse.
Yeah, and Rahmedic there struggling in this mouse 1v1. Yuzek really doing a good job at penetrating those shots. Rahmedic in return not getting too much. The field now being repressured by the side of Mafia. They gotta be careful here, Kihan, because Barkis already taken a lot of damage. There is Orchek coming down the zero line. Ooh, double strike. That was a lot of damage. Good stuff there from the side of Mafia to get that damage out. And now Barkis clipping out against Love as well. There is an overmatch here from Yogurt on this side of the map. They're trying to keep Mindbreaker alive, and Anaban's countering Orchek as well. They have a real opportunity here, Kihan, to do something with that, but Mindbreaker is dead. Fick is now getting focused out. He's dead as well. Rahmedic in trouble, and that opportunity is slipping and sliding as Mafia show Yogurt how Pilsen is meant to be played as they pick up 3 guns for 0.
Absolutely, and YOLO with that IS-7 is still extremely healthy, driving towards the enemies like a torpedo. Finally, LeVay with the first kill for Yogurt, but realistically that is not going to salvage the situation at all. Orchek getting picked up as well now, and the HP actually kind of close. Same for the guns. Depressed doing a number on YOLO with that 430U, has the reload advantage. Arnabans to pick it up. Meanwhile, Conrad is able to kill Licker, but still 3v4 and the HP look playable.
Sure, but they still have the problem of EBR against them nonetheless. And Kono is taking that strike already. There is the fact that Yuzek is a 2-shot to strike and to the guns basically as well outside of the 430U. There is an opportunity here for Yogurt for sure, but it's not the biggest one, I would say.
No, it's not the biggest one. Kono now securing the strike for himself is going to drive out, and realistically he's the playmaker. Depressed though, picking up Yuzek, equalizing the score in the kill department, and Depressed now starting to take the info tower. That is going to be full information available. They will also know where that pesky EBR of Kono is, and they still have a strike on the Centurion, so the resets should be essentially secured for the team of Yogurt that now, I mean, a couple shots setting them apart. Depressed now booking it past the mouse, even putting one in towards Profuse. 10 seconds remaining on the cap, and indeed the strike does get put, taking away some of that pressure, and Profuse takes a lot of damage, is able to heal back, but Kono in the meanwhile able to pick up LeVay in that Centurion, so the Inspire medium is no more. Depressed, another shot in towards Kono. Now Arnabans, he needs to come in that Forschby. He needs to support Depressed, who is fighting for his life, but Conrad picks him up.
The biggest issue there actually is LeVay dying in that situation. It really is a problem for the side of Yogurt, simply because that the fact remains that he had enough HP to live. Anabans will find the kill. No, he needs 3 for. Ooh, he needed 3 for Conrad. I think that is the end for this Forschby. He does find the shot, but now he's gonna die against Conrad, and Mafia do close it out. Yeah, they love it there, dying there, Keyhand, covering the middle. No reason for that whatsoever.
Indeed, and once again, I mean, just like round number 1, this last round here was extremely close with a possibility for a Yogurt victory, but, well, Mafia, just the better communication and the better coordination between their players as well. No one really giving himself away for entirely free. At the end, manages to secure them the victory, and that means not only is Mafia 7-0 now in rounds against Yogurt, Yogurt now also with a 3-match lose streak where they do not manage to pick up a single round. Things starting to look grim. They will have one more chance, one more opportunity against Darkside on Thursday, but if Darkside wins today, that might not even be the case.
That might not be, but that's a story for the next match, though. We can say Mafia, cool, calm, and collected, coming through it, cruising and bruising Yogurt in the process, but they do pick up those points to determine the ranking position, and will put them again closer to the person or the team in question, Kihan, that loses today between Hit and Run and Cashback, because one of the two has to lose.
Exactly. Now, first of all, I mean, certainly not Depressed's fault that his team was losing this round. Almost 7k damage, so pretty good score for him. And I mean, also LeVay, 4,200, so he was kind of involved in the fight, but it just goes to show that you can do a lot of damage, but still with a misplay, you can lose the round. The damage spread a lot better on the team on Mafia, I would say. No one really below 2,000 damage, and I mean, Conrad has 4.4k damage, quote-unquote, only, but 4 kills. Maybe a lot of that alpha damage also going to waste.
Yeah, that's the 750 alpha having to kill tanks that it doesn't want to kill, but ultimately they played it out well. And we talked about the Yogurt sometimes struggles mid game, end game. You could see it there. They had everything. They were killing the mouse. They were getting closer with the Forge B. All they need is this AX to live long enough for Anabans to engage, and he wasn't able to do that.
Alright, that's going to be it for match number 1. This means we are headed towards some replays. Maybe refresh your beverages a little bit, preferably to drink them out of the Onslaught mug. And yeah, that's going to be it for us, from us for the time being. See you soon.
Hello, I'm Miriam.
Babylon, Smith speaking. We captured Ramfalte successfully, but it seems that we stirred up a hornet's nest. We're being chased by several dozen Echo tanks.
Isn't science fascinating?
Moving to the extraction point. Babylon, do you copy? We're approaching. Open the portal. Now there's too many of them. Where's the portal? Babylon, do you copy?
Sign up to volunteer for Last Stand.
Seems that extraction is delayed. Okay, we'll wait. Keep on working, guys.
With scientific tools like these, no one will stand in the way of your research. No one.
And here we are, back again for match number 2 of the day. It's going to be W against Darkside. Now, Darkside, it is kind of the same story for them as for Yogurt that we saw. Points today would be really nice, and they can actually force the decision before Thursday. For them, that would probably be really cool to be locked into spot number 5. And for W, kind of the same situation as for Mafia last match as well, right?
For sure. This is mainly, you know, I mean, W still wants to prove himself. But let's be real, Kihan. When you get to the playoffs, you have to beat everybody anyways, right? Whether you're position 1 or 4, W has shown that they can win from position 4 just fine, right? There is no easy road to an OLS victory. You always have to defeat the very best nonetheless.
Absolutely. Community predictions a little bit more sided with the underdog this time than the match before, but still the overwhelming majority going with W here, 89%, leaving only 11 for Darkside.
Pretty fair, to be honest. And W also had a good showing against Mafia, Kihan, if you remember, losing the first 2 rounds and then dominating the next 4. Bringing La Rata back.
I mean, Vladislav coming in here, kind of with the Steve Jobs vibe. But yeah, average damage 3.2, KD 1.2, and that is quite impressive considering that Darkside have been losing a lot of rounds. So being able to pull a positive KD here is, yeah, not bad.
Sure. Especially, you know, SKD is still very good for knowing that they lost most of their matches, in a way, you know. So, maps, though, are going to be interesting. Ghost Town is the very first one. Now, this is a map that can be played in W's favorite style, what it seems to be nowadays. Kihan, widespread, running away, and playing on mini strikes every day.
You mean the Ratatouille is going to come out again?
La Rata. I don't know why, but it has such a nice ring to it, you know?
And then we are gonna go to Sand River. I mean, possible on that map maybe as well. Not sure entirely. Cliff, yeah, I don't think 4 or 5 light tanks are gonna be working out on that map. I think that is just absolute shootout territory. And then if we get to it, Ensk is going to be the tiebreaker. So, I mean, yeah, with W at this point, everyone is probably asking themselves the same question when it comes to what is W going to play. Interestingly enough, Studzianki was banned by Darkside, so they saw what happened on Tuesday, and they were like, nah, bro, nah, no thank you.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to mess with the mini strike. You can still do it on Ghost Town, to be honest. You can still play triple light and like double Leo and a can opener and something else. We've seen that before, though. That's not something new, to be honest. That is not something out of the question either. Will they play like that, though? I'm not sure. It's a good thing for W that they have this secondary style that they can lean into now, because, you know, you have their usual style, but you also cannot expect when they're playing 4 lights or 4 mini strikes, and that's a bit annoying. That can be a trick up their sleeves moving into the playoffs, knowing that they can play different things and it's hard to purely counter them.
Absolutely. And I mean, for the last season, we saw W completely switching around their playstyle from what they had done in regular season and in playoffs, really leaning in towards those T57 traps during those playoffs. So let's see what's going to happen then. But this is now, and predictions are coming in. I see this time I'm the odd one out. By the way, congrats to Moff for, I guess, making up 1 point last match. And here we have all of you with a 4-1, and I'm saying, well, one of the rounds additionally is going to go horrifically wrong for W, because they have seemed like kind of an unstable team. I mean, let's remember, before their victory on Tuesday, I believe, against Mafia, they had a 3-match loss streak. They only broke that Tuesday.
Yeah, and in a good fashion as well, showing that they're, you know, not too bothered by the looks of things by those kind of things. So all good at the end of the day. You know, losing 3 matches in a row, but still coming back for 4 rounds is very impressive.
Now, though, how is this one going to play out? Because realistically, the teams that W played against for this loss streak were kind of like sort of cashback hit. So really, the top dogs on the block. Today, the story a little bit different. And Darkside, they are coming out with a double 268, double CS, so double strike medium, a Batchat 25, an IS-7, and a BZ. I think it's fair to say they're looking for a fight, and they'll probably get one.
Yeah, it is looking that way. W is also bringing the 268s of their own, E4s, AX, double 60p. So there is a fight here, and it looks... I'm just looking at the W lineup. It seems like Itox is the one that's currently riding the bench.
Seems to be that way. Yes. Yeah, Jakafa switched in, although he's probably not going to be at the red line a whole lot this game. He is the furthest away from the opponents, though, as of right now. And honestly, I thought Darkside were maybe going to book it towards the cap. The IS-7 of Dries is spotted for this move on the outside. Does not take damage so far. Nepal with a shot and a miss as one of the information towers gets taken by Darkside. So soon, full info should be available for them, as Scout is also going to take the artillery strike, but cap is on, and this means that this artillery strike probably needs to get committed on towards the tanks in the cap, and both Clerf and Frugo probably don't mind taking one too much. Frugo has a lot of HP in that 60 TP, and the E4 can always reduce it.
Well, Nepal kind of protecting the information tower, or trying to, but there's no light tanks available, so Trash Panda is just going to sit on it. Can Nepal find a decap? He cannot. It will get...
Oh, I think he did.
No, yeah, it was the 268 actually from the back lines that found it, and the reset does come out. The blind strike hitting Klurf nonetheless.
Exactly, and now this means that, well, the strikes have been used, and the CS tanks on the side of Darkside don't really seem to have any strikes built up. Shokorix and Vladislav both without one, as Scout goes down towards a possible one-shot, and the cap does complete W with a cap strat and a cap victory. You can also see W with so much damage being dealt, so I think even in the long term they would have won, but this is obviously a very quick victory for a potential tiebreaker.
Yeah, another anticlimactic start. Good stuff there from W, denying the information tower, which is a bit lucky. The strike would, however, let's be realistic, imagine they take the tower, they spot out the cap. It would still only hit one of the 2 people on it, nonetheless. Like, it's not going to hit both because they're so split up. So they would still be in real trouble there for any potential decaps. The bigger issue is that the CSs didn't get mini strikes, but also then you're always lacking information if you're Darkside. Without the light tank to spot and plane, you always will lack necessary info on this cap. That's why you saw Scout drive up and basically die.
Exactly. So W with a pretty easy first victory. The team captain, the cook himself here without damage, but I don't think he is going to mind too much. Same for Mantos and Jakafa. I mean, DPG probably gonna go down, but at the end of the day, who cares when you win? No tank killed here. I mean, 4 tanks without damage on the side of Darkseid. We could start memeing about it, talking about my own Onslaught random teams, but to be honest, yeah, just well played. 2W.
Yeah, they did very good. Frugo, you know, doing the most valuable job, not getting rewarded 0 damage, but it's a very good start in this match for them. And for Darkseid, it's like, this is how we start, you know? 2 minutes, 1-0 down.
It's like, oh man. Coulda, woulda, shoulda is probably what's going through their head right now. If we just did thing X, thing Y, thing Z different, then we could have had a shot in this round, but not like this is probably the most honest way to describe it. And this means that Darkseid getting kind of caught on the wrong foot here. Not in big trouble yet, I don't think. And even if they lose the match, they still have everything to play for on Thursday. But we outlined it before. They would really love to maybe even repeat what we had in Phase 1. A tiebreaker, but then maybe with a better end for themselves. But W, I mean, they seem hungry.
Phase 1, it was very close. I don't know. I cannot feel it. I feel like all the top teams, Kihan, are just like proving themselves over and over again. And Darkseid and Yogurt are just the toys at this point.
Indeed. And so as we go into this round number 2, I think Darkseid are also maybe willing to prove that they're not just a punching ball for those bigger teams. I think the setup that they played also kind of leans into that. They were looking for a fight. It's just that W positioned themselves in a way where they were able to completely capitalize on towards what Darkseid was playing. And so did a lot of damage for essentially free. This IS-7 play on the outside maybe also designed to counter some light tank strategies from W. But this is where the diversity of lineups from W really comes in clutch. Is that both of us were talking about them maybe playing with a lot of light tanks, and they ended up playing with 0.
Lineups. Darkseid coming in. 1-1B, triple CS63, double Bliskovice, and a Foch B on Ghost Town.
And for W, we have the double 50B, BZ75, and IS-7, a T-57 heavy tank, together with a Bliskovice and an E4. Once again, both teams without light tanks. This time, Darkseid with the double strike medium again. Triple strike medium again. They have the rotationary potential. They need to pay close attention to not get too close to the lineup of W, because I think that one is looking for a shootout.
I don't think Darkseid is going to give. No, they will actually, because Darkseid is going for the gap strategy with the CS63 ski hand. I remember, I think it was Cashback that first pioneered this, so it's going to be an interesting one. Oh, they're actually not bailing from it. They're just doing an interesting approach.
Well, they're sending that triple CS down range immediately, and they're looking for Frugo and the E4 of Klurf. However, Scout already taking a big bunch of damage. Jakafar now with the 50B to finish off the first CS63, immediately down and out. And this strategy here, it seems to completely fall on its head, just like Trash Panda in the Foch B.
It's so over.
Not like this,
it's so over already, man. What do you want to see it?
Oh no. No. Oh, why? I mean, the ram kill also with the Bliska there. Insult to injury, and I think at this point in time, W probably chuckling, probably laughing to themselves. Frugo mounting them as well. Mentos doing the same thing. It's like in Pokemon. It seems that Darkseid have hurt themselves in confusion.
Yeah. What do you say about something like this?
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I mean, I can't help but smile right now and chuckle, but that's just because of the comedy of the situation. No, it doesn't look good for Darkseid, man.
What's the next map?
That is a very good question what the next map is. I will take a quick look in our big cheat sheet, and then I'll be able to tell you. But yeah, if the next one continues like this, the next one is going to be Sand River. Also a lot of opportunities for tanks to flip themselves, so... Phew. And I mean, while the score right now says 1-1, it actually is 2-0 for W. Maybe just everyone confused as to what happened right now. So yeah, I think that's being fixed. I mean, you can see both of us are kind of a little bit speechless. I mean, I was hoping for.
I mean, there's not much to say. You know, they pushed through the cap and they all died. What analysis there to give? Up. I mean, I think it was Vladislav. He just came off of a Pirates of the Caribbean marathon, and he remembered the scene. Up is down, and he tried to bring back the pearl, but wrong universe.
Yeah, no, that round was an absolute shipwreck from start to finish. 7-0 in tanks. I mean, quite obviously so. I think the only thing that the W players probably weren't happy about is that there weren't more opponents to shoot that were lying turned over on their side. Yeah, it sometimes do be that way.
I know it was Trash Panda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ah, well. Let's put Ghost Town behind us, Darky. Let's not think anymore about what happened there. You can even see it's grayed out right now. Ghost Town did not happen. W just started with a 2-0 advantage in towards the match. So now, in that first round of Sand River, in that first round of the match, what do you expect is going to happen?
There's a lot of dangerous cliffs on Sand River, Kihan, let me tell you. There's places you could flip you've never thought about before. I know, because last Clan Showdown on NA, I rolled a Mivi next to the mosque there. I drove backwards and I rolled on my roof, bro. Don't ask me how.
In an MVY?
Yeah,
like how even?
Yeah, that was my first thought as well.
I mean, we've seen the likes of Monster in an STRV or Jackify in the same tank flip over or almost flip over on Sand River as well. So let's hope that all of the players are aware of the inherent dangers that the physics engine poses.
I mean, Jackify knows exactly the limit, though. There's some tanks that are impossible to unflip, on the topic of flipping. Mainly tanks that have a flat roof.
Yeah,
they're
for example, Fosh B.
Fosh B is still somewhat possible because it has a cupola.
Kind of tall.
I think the cupola elevates a little bit, like makes it not completely flat, you know, like a pancake. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Ever tried to unflip an STRV though?
Oh, that is, yeah. If the ground doesn't help you there by having a certain shape, then it's almost impossible. Ooh. And there is an STRV actually being played by Kano. That one is not known for flipping, however, together with Trash Panda in the Rheinmetall Flip Wagon, an Udas, a 277, an MVY, and double BZ75.
W in return, 5A, Pat, double Leo, a Fush B268, and an Archam. It's not full ratting, but, you know.
Yeah, still though, double strike medium, and it seems to me like we are going to have a restart in the battle. This one being called by W. That obviously always can happen in case, like, for example, one of the players, has a disconnect or whatever. That can always be the case. And this being Onslaught, if the reset gets called in the countdown to the battle, even in game,
they get one reset, right? The one reset?
Yes, every team has one reset per match. So that one for W now being used. But yeah, as I said, the tanks that you have at the end of the match, they can still change around, and so it doesn't matter really if someone calls a reset. I mean, for us, it's obviously a bit annoying because we need to wait a little further, but yeah, we obviously do want to give the opportunity towards the players to have a reset in the match, because if something goes horrifically wrong, let's say a player blue screens, the internet drops, me being from Germany, I can absolutely understand why this would be necessary.
What provider did you have when you were younger?
I think we had O2, but I'm actually not sure.
Because Jakif, I would like to have a word with you about Vodafone.
Vodafone Bigolul is, I think, one of the emotes on his Discord server.
Different notes, that is.
Wow, really going ham here. But yeah, I actually have to say, one of the best things about relocating to Czech Republic for me was the internet here is so good, so stable, and like across the board for all providers. I think it is just, you know, it depends on the country where you live. And in that case, Germany can be kind of a bad spawn. But yeah, I think we're about to get ready for, well, do we call it the first round of the match, or do we actually acknowledge something happened?
Maybe we've been playing? This match has happened so far. I must have missed
there was
something.
the other match before this one, right?
2-0 already. Oh, look at that, guys. I got places to be. Yeah, no, it definitely feels like the first 2 rounds were kind of throwaways. Like they never even happened.
Absolutely. So let's see. It seems like the teams are getting ready once again. This means that round number 1 of Sand River should be underway momentarily. The only thing that could happen now is a reset being called by Darkside, but given that they had also a lot of time to talk over things, hopefully their internet keeps up and we will be able to get underway in this round. Darkside once again, double BZ75, MVY 277, the UDAS 1516, an SGRV, and an RHM.
Oh, W's lineup is different. No Leo Skihan. I'm so sad. Oh, wait. There's still time? No, it's just going to be double Mivi, double 2770, 50M, K91, and a 268.
So still a strike medium being played by W. Interestingly enough, no light tanks for the side of W, so looking for the immediate shootout. The MVYs would indicate that they are gonna go towards the south of the map with those tanks. MVY obviously 12 degrees of gun depression can come in quite handy. Baby is going to get positioned with his 268 close towards the spawn, and I mean the Trash Panda, did he spot anything with his plane? I don't think so, right? He put it probably towards the north.
No, info is also info, Dokian.
Yeah, exactly. This means that that he probably planed towards the north approach, and this is why the 277 is immediately booking it towards the strike.
Taking the K line is W in mass, actually, with all 7. They will take the strike. But this is a lot of control for Darkside Okihan, to be honest with you. Light, they have an STRV, there's no plane from W. I think they have a real opportunity in this battle because of that initial lineup difference. Like, you can park the STRV in D1 or D2, depending on what you want to shoot. D1 shoots the middle, D2 shoots the south, and then you can play for the side of Darkside mid-control. They just cannot be complacent and let W take back their own base.
Well, all of the tanks by Darkside really set up, and so far they are the only ones to do the damage here, which means that W is the team that has to react. They have taken damage according to tiebreaker rules. I'm starting to talk about it already because this seems to be kind of a long round that we are going to get. According to tiebreaker rules, it is them currently losing. Yes, they have a strike on Dries, on Frugo, but so does Dries actually on the side of Darkside, as finally the first damage does start to come out. I believe that was Jackafa with a shot in towards Scout. Obviously with the red line buff, he is very close to it.
They can start a cap from W's side, but we talked about that not being the greatest option either, to be honest, because slowly but surely they will destroy the buildings. I think you have to take back your own base, one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, more and more map control now being taken, and while map control is not something that can really be measured in numbers, not if you don't count the squares on the map, this is kind of bad for W, because less map control means less positions, less angles, and if you flip this on its head, it means more angles for the enemy team to shoot you from. Nepal and Frugo now taking double strikes, so maybe W really looking to build up that nuclear arsenal. That being said, though, Frugo seems to have used his first strike on towards Vladislav in that MVY, but I mean, yeah, 400 damage is 400 damage, but I think the damage taken by W still is more significant, as both sides now have 2 strikes.
But W can generate more strikes, Okihan. That's the thing that they do have going for them. They have access to both of the strikes, and they can use that to their advantage.
No. Oh, Trash Panda taking a blind shot though, and Jakifa was the one, I think, shooting that. And him being a strike medium, he will obviously know that he hit something because his ability is going to charge up. Jakifa getting spotted for every single one of his shots that he's doing now. And the K91, quite the machine gun, but he does end up taking a shot. So does Baby though. So the trade's really not going W's way at this point.
No, we talked about this is a real opportunity for W, to be honest, to do something. And yeah, Frugo will have to continuously use his strike to generate another one, but the one in the south can be rotated between the players as they please. And because you know, Kano starting to re-aggress in the STRV.
I mean, how many guns can realistically shoot at the STRV right now? Frugo can't, because there is actually aggression coming through by Darkside on towards Frugo here. The team captain himself, Mr. Tuxedo, getting pushed, getting held, getting tracked, tries to make it down somehow. Another shot into Scout, but he is probably going to die sooner rather than later, hanging on to a thread, to a sliver of HP.
And Nepal getting pushed down as well. Vladislav finds Frugo. Now this 277 in trouble as well, and W was gearing up for their own move, but Darkside beat them in the timing department, re-pushing 1-2 line, re-pushing the middle, finding Jakefa as well in that K91. What a beautiful timing to hit for Darkside. They find those 277s, they will lose Shockerigs, but they find another Mivi on the K-line. That is Mentos, who will not be going any further in this battle. He will fall, he will die, and Darkside show that they're here to play nonetheless. Well, this was a good move, was a good timing, and a good execution.
Exactly, not much more to say here. Yes, the teams are still playing, and currently it is still 4 tanks alive for the team of W, but taking a look at the positions tells you all you need to know. Clerf in that E50M is able to actually take out Hellmind in the Udas, but Baby falling means that once again Darkside have the 2-gun advantage. Ios also getting killed from downtown, the STRV to pick it up. And now W remaining with only 1279 HP between 2 of their tanks. Nepal taking another one by Vladislav.
I mean, if Nepal and Clerf win this, I will take Ihan out for dinner in Prague to the best restaurant they have.
It seems to me like you don't want to go to dinner with me, because I don't think that's going to happen. Clerf now, the only survivor.
Unbelievable.
Oh wow. it's one thing to let me say it, but it's a wholly another one to then confirm it. Unneeded hostility. But yeah, Darkside finally show up in the match, and to be honest, after certain incidents that have happened previously, I think this is a very well-deserved, well-earned point, hitting a beautiful timing. And for W, kind of unlucky, but that is just sometimes how it goes.
Indeed. It is also very good for the match that Darkside picks up this round. And yeah, W there, all in strategy in a way, going K-line with 7 tanks, but no light tank key hand does put you in a scenario where you're like, what do we do? What can we do? What do we have going for us? But even with that, I think their best option was to generate strikes, where like they were doing, get a bunch of them and then pressure back. And I do believe that Darkside is aware that like over time W will generate a lot of strikes because of the double strike available. We will beat them to position by pushing ourselves on towards what we think is the weak point, which is Frugo and Jakefa. And they were completely right about that. Which is also not that easy, right? Because they have information from time to time, but not all the time.
And the thing that is pretty outstanding for me is that the STRV is actually up there with the damage, because the biggest problem you always face with the STRV is when your team pushes to kind of stay relevant, right? Because the STRV normally, it is the single best tank at receiving a push, but it is a very bad tank at keeping up with the team when the own team is pushing. So very well done by Kano to stay relevant, to stay shooting. He wasn't able to put his HP in towards the fight, but that isn't necessarily required or expected even as an STRV. So yeah, well done by him to provide the firepower, even though it wasn't the best like starting scenario for him.
No, it was not. And I'm very happy that Darkside is able to shake off those 2 rounds, because we were laughing right? We were giggling about it, but I don't think that they were giggling all that much about the first 2 ghost downs, to be honest. Like, we found it amusing. I don't think they found it that amusing.
No, I mean, as soon as the Foch flip, maybe the second tank flipping was just then the player being like, all right, well, it's lost anyway, so go for the memes, but yeah, no. Apart from the round itself being kind of a meme, it's good to see that Darkseid are able to...
shake it off?
Yeah, to shake it off.
Like Kihan's favorite artist.
Absolutely, I was about to make the Swift reference.
Aye.
But yeah, round number 2 on Senru. And the thing is, like, Darkseid here still is the underdog, don't get me wrong. But it's good to see that, unlike Yogurt, for example, that we saw against Mafia, they are actually able to get those wins in the late game scenarios.
Let's see what we get in round 2, though, of Sun River altogether. Because, you know, W tried something, but Darkseid had good reactions and good opening as well. And... yeah, it just shows Kihan that in Onslaught is quite a bit different than like 15v15 and other stuff, where going just K-line is not a winning strategy.
No, the thing is that with only 7 tanks available, whenever you go for a strategy like this, like go to this part of the map and then hold, you will never be able to react properly to then like very, very committed repushes by the opposing team, just because the limited amount of guns that you have means that you're also limited with stationing them. And then if you don't go for like a blind all-in receive, if that makes sense, then you're most likely to lose. And so indeed, W are going to switch it up. A light tank coming out from them. First of all, the IS-7, MBY, Centax, E50M, K91 again, and the RHM.
Darkseid, again, with those BZs, 3 of them, a Mivi, a CS, an AX, and an E50M as well. So they're now the team without a light key.
So Darkseid is going to be kind of pressured into doing something here. Good plane coming out from Klurf, hitting hitting 6 out of the 7 tanks for Darkseid. This means that also immediately the replane is going to be available, as a Baby is going to drive towards the info tower with the Centax. Maybe that even means Insta-Inspire available for him. Not quite, but almost there, as Darkseid from the east are going to take a lot of south control. But this means that, kind of like last match, the team starting from west will have the entirety of the north to play with.
And I feel like we are in a similar situation, Kihan. I feel like we've been here before.
Exactly, except that this time it is kind of W with the control of the situation and the map. Vladislav even taking the first damage of the round here. And the biggest problem, I think, for Darkseid is that the side of the map that they chose to go to does not have info towers.
Yeah, there is a cap attempt by Trash Panda, but we talked about that cap not being that safe as you may think, you know. Slowly but surely, the buildings get chipped away, and when they do, you don't really have much left to play behind. You only really have the... Ooh, they're going push Mentos actually. They're not capping. Dries and Hellmine in the meantime pushing down as well on towards Jakefa in that K91. He's in for round 2. Can Darkseid surprise? Not once, but twice. Here comes Hellmine, here comes Dries. They're pushing past and then back in. I don't think they were sure entirely. The Ram not really working out either. A little bit disjointed there. Strike coming out, and this is maybe not the move that Darkseid was hoping for.
No, Dry is taking a lot of damage here, and Jakefa with that K91 machine gun is able to finish it off. Scout in the meanwhile able to take out one of the W tanks in the middle of the map, and Jakefa, Hellmind, the strikes raining left, right and center, but Hellmind with the HP advantage. Jakefa with another shot, but the bounce coming out by Hellmind. The strike is going to miss, but Hellmind still able to pick it up with 63 HP. That was very costly, but it means Darkseid have the gun advantage, but 2 one-shots on their end as well. Frugo reloaded, but Ios able to pick up Hellmine. It is gun parity, and now advantage for W.
advantage in the guns, but not in the HP though. Klurf now trying to run away, and the RHM getting focused out. One more will put him down. Kano tries, but he cannot. Nepal is now getting pushed up on a big strike coming in. It's actually Scout and the BZ to pick up that light. That's hyper important. Kano now pulling back, who doesn't want to get focused out by Baby. He's training against just Nepal. Shockworks pulling up from behind, makes him a one-shot. Kano looking for the finish. It will be Scout instead with the big healthy BZ to do it. Frugo now coming back in with the BZ, with the I7. He immediately falls, and it's Baby and Yoss against 4.
Baby and Yoss, the two of them very, very healthy, and the E50M also in a position to support the Centurion Action X, but Scout having as much HP as he does is just going to drive in Kano not far behind with the Centurion AX of himself, and they're just going to cascade and roll over Baby. This leaves only Yoss, who has admittedly a lot of DPM, but still the guns that he has is limited. It's just one, and just like that, Darkside make the comeback. They look so silly on Ghost Town, but now they look so strong on Sand River.
Good showing, and even this base push Kihan was executed very badly. They could have driven past the D2 like they initially were thinking, which would have been the right play, and then shoot the K91 from there, right? Where you see Scout now, they would have been safe from the middle. They really kind of misplayed, I think, in that regard, feeling that they needed to push the Jakefa, throwing away 2 tanks for essentially 1, and even with that, they ended up trading positively, because again, they found that I7 in the middle. It was another good push.
Now, I personally would really like to be on the TeamSpeak of a W right now. Like, how is the mood going to be after something like this? Essentially, you get gifted 2 quick rounds on Ghost Town where you're probably laughing, you're probably having a giggle. And now, you kind of get owned on Sand River. Like, what does that do with a team?
I mean, they went from giggling to crying, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
You know what, Ken? You should be very happy that they did this though, you know, because you predicted 4-2.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I am kind of okay with this as it stands right now. But, yeah, good job. Also, Scout with a couple crucial kills in the BZ-75. So that is not always a guarantee with the gun, because I think the worst part, or the worst thing about the BZ is kind of its gun. And he was able to make those shots connect. So good job by Scout. I think he's the mid-season player change as well that Darkside brought in, right? So yeah, definitely not becoming weaker. And now after Ghost Town and Sand River have been played, both of the teams picking up their respective map pick, 2-0. We don't talk about how some of the rounds went. We are now going to a fast-paced, a quick, a shootout, an aggression map. We are going to Cliff.
This is where W should again make the difference, though. The Sand River really did not work out for them, which was a bit sad, I think. But they did not have the cover for middle whatsoever. And again, Jakefa, it's the same story, you know. Mid was not covered enough, and Jakefa is alone.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of when you have like North Control to then send tanks by themselves and towards the dried out riverbed, because realistically, to be able to support them, you also need to drive into the dried out riverbed, and at that point, you're like sitting ducks concentrated in a lower ground. That's never a position that, you know, is good. All nitpicking aside, though, I am very excited to see Cliff in between both those teams, because both teams have tried cooking strats before on this map, and it's always funny to see when those get employed. It's even funnier to see when they work, and here we have the real possibility of maybe even 2 cook strats going up against each other, and I think then it goes completely off the rails.
But W has some good cooks on Cliff though as well. But I don't know if now is the time to cook Yan. You know, maybe now is the time to just hunker down, back to basics, and run over them. And it does seem to be that is the strat they're going for. Double CS63, triple E50M, triple CS63 actually, because the Hurricane snuck in there, and a Fush B.
And for Darkside, we have double 60 TP. Not sure I'm a fan on this map of the Polish Super Heavy together with 50B. double BZ75, a 140. We've seen that one before from Darkside, and the T100.
I don't like the 60p scan. I've told you that before. I really just don't like them on this map.
The strat ended up working out against Hit, right?
Yeah,
like they also had
sure.
140.
But I was also down with Piotr Dead Commander, if you remember.
Oh yeah, true. And this time around, W is also not committing towards the 1 and 2 line. So they are not kind of falling into that trap, as Ios and Klurf do manage to put one shot in between the two of them. And the fact that Trash Panda doesn't take any damage from this moving further should tell Darkside that W have all 7 tanks committed towards the upper side. Indeed, the info tower is now going to come in, and Hellmine, maybe for him it's a little late. He turned his tank around, so he's going to take some of the damage for this. And I think W are not done. They realize that Scout and Shocker is out of the battle. The T100, the same thing. So Hellmine and Vladislav have to try to run away from this onslaught of E50Ms.
But now, what does W do? Do they continue? Do they go for it? The 140's pumping from behind. Frugo trying to lead the charge, and now Jakefa, also in that first B, needs space to work with. Vladislav is just not dying. The 60 DPs are starting to hurt. Rise is on reload. Klurf is coming in as well. They're showing everything they have at this push. They will find the BZ, but it's the cost that they have paid too much, too severe. EOS on the hill is in trouble. Good mini strike coming out as well, though, on towards that T100, and now Trash Panda in the trouble that T100 is just not fast enough, and he will fall to the strike as well. So good stuff there, good coordination between Klurf and EOS to find at least the kill on the T100 on top of that hill.
Well, I mean, EOS is trying to sell his life as expensive as possible, is going to survive. For now, on the side of the hill, Humpity Dumpity, he goes
he's alive.
down, but
he's dead.
Not. Oh no! Oh
He's dead.
no!
He dead. Wait, maybe the CS63 can save him. There is about 25 seconds left for the CS coming his way.
It happened again, Ducky.
I think there's 20 seconds left. No, they're not making this. They're not making this.
No, I don't think
they're up in
CS
HP
is
though.
Attempting. Yeah, it doesn't. It might end up not mattering at all, as Dreiser is down towards a one shot, and Jakefa with the Fosh B from the donut is able to pick it up. Kano with the 140 also had to commit to the fight, but turns out the 140. Yeah, Ios has died in the meanwhile, but the 140 not able to stand up towards the heat of those E50Ms. Kano down towards a one-shot. Mentos, I think, with the strike to secure the kill, and still W with 6 tanks alive, even though Darkside haven't even killed one.
Well, I was a little worried about this one to push, but it ends up working out in the end, though. I was really worried about it, because it took him a long time to kill the first BC, but all is good in the end, Kihan.
Exactly, and I mean, you can't really fault the CS. He's dead either way. He took the best shot he had at kind of getting out of the situation, and I mean, at some point in time when you're like drifting down the hill like that, you essentially let Jesus take the wheel and you hope for the best. This time it turns out Jesus doesn't seem to have a driver's license.
No. And W comes in to Cliff, reassessing the situation, realizing that they were all of a sudden even, and make it 3-2. Kihan very happy with the outcome of this, of course. Yeah, I still don't like this initial from Darkside, and this time around it doesn't work out either.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out kind of against Hit. But there it was like a very peculiar situation where a lot of things went wrong for Hit. And this time around, I mean, W recognized, and I think rightfully so, that, hey, we have so many tanks that are able to push this one too, that even if Darkside are recycling the strat, even if they're being environmentally friendly, we can still beat that.
Good damage there then for Jakefa in that Forge B, and the 50Ms following suit. Good stuff. 14, 13, 13. Good pen ratios all around. That's what you expect. And yeah, I mean, the Sand River was bad, but this back to basics here, making the push, making it work. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think W kind of recognized after Sand River that they are trying to do too much. And so they dialed it back like a couple notches. And this strat that we saw by them is a very, very basic strat, and I don't mean that in an overly critical way. As you said, sometimes the basics, if you do that well, that can be very much enough.
Sometimes you don't need to win the round. Sometimes you can just get a delivery.
Very, very true indeed.
When they feel not like cooking, they must not cook.
That sounds like one of those Insta quotes that you can then have in front of like a nice photo with like a lot of filters applied to it.
Yes, with the spiritual quote of the day.
Mm-hmm.
To align my chakra today, sometimes I just not cook. I deliver.
Exactly. Now, though, it is a match point for the team of W. This means that, well, if the team of Darkside want to force a decision today as to where they will end up in the leaderboard, and for them, that will be place 5 that they're aiming for right now, they will need to get going now. They will need to win 2 rounds in a row, because the only thing that helps them in this scenario would be the 3 points that are left, because then they could lose in tiebreaker, for example, against Yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
But W doesn't mind picking up some more points for themselves. So, yeah, W also have everything to play for here. All the Yogurt players and the Yogurt fanboys probably cheering with W right now.
For sure. I mean, why would you not be cheering for W if you're Yogurt? Then leave your fate up until the last play day. Who will win and who will lose? Who will bring position 5 and who will be forced into relegations?
I mean, Darkside kind of also going back to bases, to basic stuff. Sorry, Darkside triple BZ, triple CS, and a T100.
W in return though, double CS, double E50M, CS63, and double FOSH-B.
Now, I like that Darkside are not like very liberal with their tank choices. They also kind of have basic picks, but at the same time, I'm kind of concerned because I don't really see the firepower on the team of Darkside. Like, yes, the CSs have kind of okayish DPM together with the mini strikes as well, but you know, having a CS is an entirely different matter to having, for example, E50Ms or FOSH-Bs that really bring the burst.
CS is coming from 1-2 for Darkside. It's a split strategy. CS63 playing the ramp, T100 going up. EOS and Klurf want to go up potentially themselves as well. They might get blasted by Scout and Dries, who are looking for an angle. They will not find one. Shockworks is now peeking as well. Focus on towards Klurf. So that top ramp looking okay right now for the side of Darkside. And now Vladislav will go up. Hellmine and Kano coming back into the middle, forced back by Drakefa pushing from behind. And you see Hellmine taking a lot of damage already down towards the one shot. He will just about survive though, trying to get back into the middle of the map. The first one to fall is actually Nepal. And now you have the CS63s, Ios and Klurf on the top ramp trying to do what they can. Hellmine will fall. And now from the 1-2 line comes that FOSH-B. The Roland Thunder moving back in, making an easy kill on Kano together with Klurf, and W find success. Scout dead as well. They still have the crossfire. These BZs now trying to retreat to the ramp, but they're not really the tanks you want to be left with in a scenario where you're about to lose the match, as Eels will find Vladislav on top of the hill. It's 3 for Darkside, 6 for W, and a round where W say enough. We're gonna make it short, we're gonna make it powerful. It's gonna be 4-2 for them.
Yeah, the overpush by Darkside there looking like it was on the brink of succeeding, but in the end, W was able to receive it very, very well. The focus fire coming out was exceptional, and also the coordination, the tanks from the donut arriving just about in time, with Jacopa then on cleanup duty in the FOSH-B almost, as he does get the last kill of the game, and W, after some mishaps on Sand River, still it doesn't matter. In the end, it is going to be the 4-2 scoreline that nets them 4 points.
Good stuff. I mean, it's all around again, and you see that CS being forced out of 1-2. They see a FOSH-B, they're like, uh-oh, and start running away. But then you're forced into the middle, in between the DPM tanks from W, who had a pretty nasty crossfire. CS is on the top ramp, P50M on the corner, some tanks in the middle as well. It's like, CS is not the ultimate brawling tank. You know, it's great, it's fast, it gets into position quickly, but when it has to duke it out against the Foch Bs of this world, the E50Ms of this world, it loses in every single one of the aspects against it. So it's a great tank, but for the fight that they were taking, not fantastic.
Not so much.
And the T100, well, it's a great tank to go on the hill. It does not really contribute in a game like this too much. It doesn't have great DPM. It doesn't even have anything that the HM doesn't, except for lower profile. The gun's way more annoying. He probably doesn't do that much, so you're effectively constantly fighting 6v7 throughout the entire match with inferior brawling tanks. I mean, those two things together are not a great combination.
Yeah, and here, I mean, especially on the team of Darkside, it comes to show that W were doing a very good job of eliminating the tanks with the DPM, which is the CSs. Normally, you want them to be on the top to deal a lot of damage, but they just got killed super quickly. Then the T100 probably just, got killed whenever it was possible. That's why he has even more damage than the CSs. And the BZs, I mean, yes, they do damage, but they take so long to do so that by the time when they end up getting killed, the match is already decided. So I think W here on Cliff showing why they are going to be making it towards the playoffs and Darkside will not. Just overall very, very solid on Cliff. And also on Ghost Town, we don't talk about Sand River. And for Darkside, I think on Cliff, there's some stuff to be analyzed, but we don't talk about Ghost Town.
Ghost Town?
Yeah, exactly.
What Ghost Town? You played Ghost Town?
They're at least the pick and ban, it said it like right at the start, but that is enough yapping from our side. When we return, we have another banger of a match lined up. This one's probably going to decide who is going to be taking place 1 of the regular season, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
And thank you very much once again to AMD for sponsoring the third season of the OLS Together We Advance Gaming. And now, Ducky, I think we are at the match that we have all been waiting for, kind of, since the start of the stream. It's going to be, well, place number 1 against place number 2. Cashback against Hit. I think Hit right now is place number 1, but only by the margin of round difference, both on 26.
Yeah, this is definitely the match I've been waiting for the whole day. Because one of these two teams is going to get undisputed first, and potentially, depending on how they win, Keyhand locked themselves in for the... Wait, do they need to win without the tiebreaker to secure themselves place 1? I'm thinking back to the standing real quick.
I mean, if Hit win 4-0 right now, today, then they would be undisputed regular season champion, because then even if Cashback win the last match on Thursday 4-0 and Hit lose again 4-0, then, well, Cashback couldn't come back. But yeah, both of the lineups tried and tested.
Whoever wins this is putting themselves in prime position to win the regular season.
Absolutely, and with that you would be securing first seed, which is a very advantageous position to be in for the playoffs bracket. And we see that after a season with some stumbles, I think is fair to say, especially in phase 1 of the OLS, Cashback is still favored by the community, 63% towards the 37% that Hit managed to rack up. That all being said, I think both teams are entirely capable of taking this match by force, running away with it. Interesting stats here as well between Mineros and Barbarian. Both of them with the same amount of battles, both of them with exactly the same win rate. However, then things kind of start to differ. The higher KD for Mineros, the higher DPG for Barbarian, although not by much. Pen ratio 89-91, tanks played 14-13, kind of similar, although the main tank differs. Hit really leaning into the Batchat meta, while Cashback has been known to play a lot of T-57s.
Yeah, Barbarian's just more of a team player, that's why he dies more, you know. Nonetheless, maps are very interesting as well. Ensk and Himmel's being removed. Ensk being banned by Cashback, it's not the first time we see that, Kihan. Then going into Sand River as first one.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see, especially since Cashback historically was known to be a very good Ents team, now banning it out, possibly to be able to play it in the playoffs. Sand River, we saw the map already. I think between Cashback and Hit, it might be a different story to what we saw already. And then Cliff, we just saw it. I mean, it's just the map to watch out for when it comes to player skill and calls being made once again. And then Ghost Town Westfield being removed, leaving Pilsen as map number 3. Murovanka then being banned out. The tiebreaker, possibly, if we see it, is going to be Studzianki, although I don't think either team is going to pull La Rata.
I doubt it altogether. It's a good set for this. I'm really excited to see Sand River, as I thought Cashback were the ones to pioneer some strats on it. And then Cliff is always going to be a very interesting one between these two.
And we see the caster predictions split right down the middle as well. All of us are saying it's going to tiebreaker. We are only disagreeing about who it's going to be. The two of us are holding it with the Ukrainian team of Cashback. Both Morph and Phil saying, well, actually, Hit have looked pretty good. They are going to have the edge in this one.
Yeah, split predictions means something by itself, right? It means we're not convinced about who is really going to be winning. Let's take a look at lineup number 1. 60p, BZ, Mivi, 277, CS63, 50M, and a 430U for Cashback.
And Hit Hit and Run respond with a BZ and IS-7, double IS-7 actually, an MBY E50M. The K91 is really starting to rise in popularity, and an UDES as the Inspire Medium. So Inspire Medium against none, and both sides without light tanks.
What kind of a fight are we going to get though? We don't necessarily need to get a fight even without lights. But we can see Cashback going very heavy towards the K-line. In return, Hit and Run, where are they going?
Both sides actually sending a lot of tanks towards the south, but Hit and Run in the dried out riverbed, also with an MVY, and the K91 kind of posted on the overlook. Franek is going to chill there. Call Me Piotr taking the first damage of the game with a double IS-7 that gets sent straight towards the southern strike. However, Piotr taking more punishment for this, already down to 2.4.
But so far, we just see this 4-to-the-U down 0 line. K91 coming above as well. Brainbreaker committing in, and both teams are respecting each other, kind of mirroring what they're doing in different ways.
T-Sec now taking some damage as well, so far so good, I think, for the team of Cashback, that are able to put more damage on towards individual tanks, whereas they are kind of bleeding a little bit here, there, and everywhere. Brainbreaker is going to snatch the first neutral objective of the battle, however, as Little takes a bit of punishment as well in his 60 TP close to the cap. Franek in the K91 has been found as well now, and the flanking 430U that you can see on the minimap might be a big problem. He is starting to evacuate.
Yeah, that's a big issue for him, that 4-to-the-U above, dealing with him, and in return, Hit and Run is now reacting by pushing Brainbreaker in that 277. Panzer Fury going over, Barbarian peeking as well in that E50M. They're doing a lot of damage for this Gihan. They're not about to give him up just for free. Panzer Fury getting focused out. Barbarian, the team player there, trying to make a shot, doesn't connect. Getsai finds the kill. Twilight now maybe in a little bit too deep together with Squeezy, but they're trying to pop off. While in return, you see the tank in the middle getting overrun. That's Little, and now Barbarian starting to get peeked by this UDES as well. Cashback is starting to slowly but surely lose this engagement.
Exactly, Little now falling as well as the shots coming from the middle. Arca with that 430U trying to keep down Monster and Ketzai, but now they're starting to commit on towards Barbarian, down towards one shot with the ram. He goes. Monster doesn't have the reload advantage, but picks him up before falling himself. Twilight is starting to heal back from single-digit HP. Panzfury not able to finish it quite yet. The strike does go down. Panzfury doesn't know where to go, dodges it, but right now, Twilight still also down, so DJ, with a lot of HP, should be able to clean it up.
And DJ, they're shooting Squeeze inside. Another mini strike coming out. Panzer Fury, it's doing it again. Another dodge from him. I mean, not that it matters in this battle, but he does dodge twice the mini strike to save his life. The battle was already won, but some good awareness there from Panzer Fury. And Hit and Run in battle number 1 come in strong as well. They instantly react to this K91 being pressured, and they find great success as well.
Absolutely. Liberty is going to dodge the strike as well, but not the shot by Ketzai to put him down. And yeah, Panzfury, really the Neo of a World of Tanks, is going to barely avoid his own demise. 69 HP there at the end. Very nice driving by him. And so Hit and Run are going to snatch up the first point, but it was very, very hard fought. At some point in time, I was even a little bit doubtful with that push in the south that they did with double I-7. I hadn't even seen on the minimap that the UDES had come to support, because the UDES is actually a tank. Like, yeah, we talk about the Inspire a lot, but the DPM on that Swedish medium is not too shabby either.
Good stuff there from DJ. Good pen ratio as well. 6k damage coming out strong across the board. Every Hit and Run member doing what was expected of them, you could say. In return, there will be some obvious, Brainbreaker dying early, but the rest of the Cashback team actually doing pretty good. They just weren't able to really close out too many kills.
And I think that kind of was the issue towards the end of the battle, that the hit tanks were alive, barely, but yes, they were alive. And for example, in an IS-7, if you're able to get out 1 or even 2 more of those shots, that's like 500 or almost 1,000 damage that, essentially shouldn't happen. Maybe some of the damage rolls also not going the way of Cashback, and I mean the strikes not hitting either. In this match, or in this game, I don't think it made a big difference that, the IS-7 managed to stay alive. Like, Hit would have won either way. but in other scenarios, a tank not dying could be a crucial factor moving forward.
On Sand River, I think it's very important. Like, you saw Cashback do all of that damage, but they weren't able to close out the kills. And that's just a big difference there. They couldn't even close out the kill against Panda Fury. It was a 69 HP i7. So, no, but this is classic Hito in a way. You know, you get pressured on one point. They realize that this 430U will kill them all when it comes down to it if you give him time. And they instantly react. They find that first kill. They give nothing back. They take a lot of damage. But like, most importantly, keep everybody alive.
And so now, after this first very cool round on Sand River, in my opinion, we are going to have ourselves another one. Sides are going to be switched. To be honest, which team do you think is favored, East or West?
I'm not sure. I think West is actually the better side, Kian. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's kind of up in the air still. Sand River, obviously the newest addition to the map pool, and I think teams, just like on Himmelsdorf, are kind of not done exploring. Phase 1 score was, as it seems, a very hard-fought match as well. Hit there with the slight advantage, 3-2 in tiebreakers, so 2-1 in points at that point in time. There is the possibility that this one goes the distance as well, and to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of rounds in between Cashback and Hit, because if anything, this first round here was very nice to see. Like, always those kind of shootouts, but you can see even in the shootouts, both teams kind of stay aware of what's happening on the fringes of the map and act accordingly.
Lineups in round number 2, hit and run, changing it up at T100, triple CS63, a Mivi, and double IS7.
And for Cashback, we have an IS-7, a Batchat, a Centurion Action X, double K91 together with STRV, and also a light tank of the RHM. So that is a very interesting lineup by Cashback. Obviously, double Strike Medium, Inspire Medium. They have the very immobile STRV, but that can provide a lot of fire support. Both teams also with the light tank, and I think Cashback might have overcooked a little bit because Ketzai in that light tank, very good plane coming out from Liberty, by the way, Ketzai in that light tank might be able to spot those STRVs as well as those K91s where they don't want to be seen.
Immediately, though, this pressure in the north from Hit and Run is being spotted out, is being shot at as well. The CA-63s are now bailing. Twilight has taken some damage. Barbarian took a shot as well. And now we'll see immediate rotations because Hit and Run knows that they cannot push this out. The north, sorry.
In the meanwhile, though, the K91 of Brainbreaker in the south getting committed very far. They obviously have the information from the start of the round where they saw all 7 of the tanks. And that is a huge amount of information, actually. Franek, though, is taking the first strike in the middle of the map, and Brainbreaker kind of was hovering around the southern strike, decided to not take it, and I think rightfully so, because there is 2 tanks from the side of Hit that are currently very close to it, and Call Me Piotr doesn't take damage. Some shots connecting from Brainbreaker, but as he sees the I-7, I don't think he wants to contest. The strike goes down on towards Twilight, so a little bit of chip damage coming out from Hit.
I think Cashback is eyeing this IS-7 right now. The one that's counter-pushing. Twilight in trouble, taking a lot of damage already in his. DJ is facing. He's getting shot at from where exactly is that? I think the CS-63 from the base as well. Takes a big strike to the face. Another shot coming in as well from Monster at the same time. Down towards 785. One more. The finish. The kill. Cashback down 1 already. Relatively. And almost basically for free.
Indeed, Hit and Run take this second round of Sand River and make it their own kind of. Brainbreaker has evacuated the south of the map as well, and what I said at the beginning of the battle, Cashback might have overcooked a little bit. They get that very good opening spot by Liberty, but after that they don't really do a whole lot with it.
I mean, they were very focused around this north push, but they are finding T-Sec in return a little bit, though. I mean, he's down towards 680. If they could return the kill, Kihand would be huge. Would be back in a status quo. DJ now taking some damage as well. The issue is the K91 and the CX are going to be pincered soon in a bad position.
Yes, we have a little bit of T-tours going on, showing us everything that is going on currently in the game. But Franek, I mean, taking the artillery strike, not really that much happening, and that is because Hit and Run probably realize, hey, when it comes down to it, we don't really need to do a whole lot, and what we've seen so far from the cashback lineup doesn't really look like it wants to push. That being said, though, Barbarian starting to push, dodges the strike as well, and takes out the CS. How much damage is he going to take for this one, though, as he drops down towards 702? 2 CSs being able to strike from there, and, I mean, strike, electric boogaloo, it is going to secure the kill on towards him. So it looked cool what he was doing, but in the end, he just threw himself to the wolves.
It looked cool until you see the strikes come out and you're like, oh well. You know, it's one of those moments, oh well. Did you ever watch, what's the movie called? What's the movie name? I'll think about it, give me a second. It was with Mila, you know, we once had her at Commando. Resident Evil. Did you watch it, Kian?
You mean the zombie one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
You remember the scene with the lasers?
The one in the tight space where she almost gets cut apart?
Yeah, but at some point the laser turns into like a grid. That's what was Barbarian's POV there when the strikes started coming on him. And it's like, oh well.
Alright, another good strike connecting on towards Centurion and K91. That is just Hit. Complete control of the match right now. Another strike going down, and I mean, the players of Hit see those tanks stationed there, and they're probably like, I have a strike available, don't mind if I do, as Brainbreaker sees Call Me Piotr, but takes another shot immediately from the middle of the map. Call Me Piotr also with a big one in towards that K91, and I think things are going from bad to worse for the side of Cashback at this point in time. Many tanks locked into positions where they really cannot push, and they're not designed to push. Those K91s, the Centurion Action X, the STRV, all of those tanks are designed to give fire support, not push by themselves. And so, really, I mean, it sounds like I'm patting myself on the back, but yeah, I said it at the start of the round. That Cashback lineup looks overcooked.
Hit and Run is toying with them now, though. They know the game is over.
I mean, they don't really need to do anything at this point in time. They have the gun advantage, and they are continuously dealing damage. So there is no reason why Hit would do anything at this point in time. They're doing some rotations, maybe to react towards what they have seen. But realistically, I'm not even sure if Hit and Run have complete information at this point. They might not know about the STRV, for example. And if you have a big question mark like that, it just makes sense to not push. Like, why take the risk?
I think they know that they're winning, Key, to be honest. They will have triple strike soon, though. They have already one on DJ, a second on Ketsai, and a third about to be taken by Franek as well. They could blow up Aka with that if they want to. And do you see little green circles coming in? That's 1, that's 2, that's 3.
Yeah, exactly. And
Squeezy's
Franek
next.
still, yeah, or Sente X might be next.
Yeah,
Squeezy, exactly. Franek just took the strike. Down the strike goes.
He dodged it.
He dodged it, okay, but still, it doesn't change the situation. Squeezy is in a world of trouble, and if Squeezy is in a world of trouble, then Cashback is probably in a universe of trouble here right now, because what are they meant to do? Hit now even starting to force the cap with Ketsai in the LT. And yeah, Little getting spotted now. That is the last possible question mark being turned into an exclamation mark for Hit and Run as Squeezy falls. Ketsai with the light tank to pick it up there. And yeah, Hit and Run calm and collected.
Yeah, some mental warfare, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the possibility to do something like this with the opposing team, to really rub it in that you are just better in this round, you obviously take that opportunity. Pants Fury with the Ram as well, coming out. And, I mean, is he going to kill him? He is reloaded. The strike comes down, so that one actually was Call Me Piotr picking up the kill. And Hit and Run in a very, very easy round for them. Going to confirm the quick, or well, not quick, but the easy 2-0 on Sand River.
Good stuff by them. You know, like I said, a bit of mental warfare, knowing that they've already won the game. They're like, I don't really feel like pushing, to be honest. Let them suffer a little bit, and that's exactly what happened. Not fun if you're a cashback player, to be honest, but it is what it is. That gives us Sand River 2-0 for Hit and Run, moving into Cliff, Kihan.
Yeah. And especially, like this round number 2, I think Cashback lost with the tank picks that they had. Like, maybe this works well against a lot of other setups, but against what Hit brought, absolutely no chance. Let's be real. The first round was, I think, the one with more action and probably a little cooler to watch as well, just because there was actually a shootout. And I think that Cashback had an opportunity to take the first round, whereas, let's be real, they didn't really have an opportunity. They didn't really have a chance in this round number 2, especially after the IS-7 died. Like, who is supposed to be the front line? Like, the front line was dead after the IS-7 died.
I don't know. You tell me, Kihan. Kin anyone? SRV? The AX, because it can play hold on.
The K91 can as well, technically. But yeah. A forgettable round number 2 for Cashback on Sand River. And Hit and Run, they must be feeling good about themselves. Kind of cruising. But, and that is a very big but, that was just Hit and Run picking up the 2 points on their opponent's map pick. That means what's going to happen now?
Cashback wins 2-0 on Cliff.
Exactly. I mean, if I wrote the script, this is how I would write it, always. Sure.
I mean, I can't go against you on that one. Will it be the case? I don't think so. I think Hit wins at least one round here.
Might be. So far, Hit has looked like the sharper team today, definitely. But like, for how good both those teams are, a 4-0 wouldn't really reflect the current state of things. But maybe Hit is going to completely explode on Cliff now, and I don't mean their tanks, but actually their gameplay. And they're going to blow Cashback out of the water. That is a possibility as well.
I just think that Hit is definitely the team that can win at least one round on Cliff. You know, when I'm thinking about it. They're not the kind of team, I think, to give this up 2-0. I could be shocked, but, you know, they're quick and aggressive as well, Kian, and they only need to win one brawl, you know?
Yeah, I think in between those two teams, both of those feel like the kind of teams for me that would come into like the 1-2 line with a lot of tanks immediately for a shootout, for example. Like, just gameplay style-wise, I could see them do that.
Let's see, though. I think we might have a very aggressive clash here. You know, 750Bs 1-2 line.
750Bs. That would be kind of crazy. But it would be fun, nonetheless. I think it is also very confusing at some point for the opposing team, which 50B right now is on reload and which one isn't. But both of the teams, I mean, different tanks, but kind of the same approach, right? Both of them have the T100. Then for Cashback, we have the Forge B, triple 430U, Batchat, and the BZ.
Hit and Run, quad E50M, a T100, a CS, and an IS-7. So kind of the same philosophy, Key. They have that DPM core, right? But it's 430U versus E50M.
Interestingly enough, Hit and Run going with the Strike medium, and for Cashback it's going to be the autoloading Batchat here, whereas Hit and Run obviously are looking for the fight, looking for the shootout with those quadruple E50Ms. I think Cashback would be fine, kind of letting the 430 tank, but a good plane coming out by either team. Not only replanes available, but also Hit and Run and Cashback seeing that they're kind of avoiding each other, with Hit and Run driving towards the 1-2 line and Cashback sending the majority of their forces towards the middle of the map. Katsai spotted out in that T100, doesn't take any damage for it, and we can see Hit have taken the donut completely.
And Hit seems to be pushing through as well on the lower side at Forge B of Aka, already getting pressured, clipping out against Piotr. He's getting a full clip for that, but Piotr is tanking it like a man. 2,434, but now Franek driving down, the ability bumped out, Liberty getting pushed by Katsai as well on top of the hill, and now you can see the blob of orange tanks moving back towards 1-2 line. Kihan, they are spotted out doing this, so Hit and Run will need to react to this as Franek, Tisek and Piotr are cleaning up this Foch B. The 4-2s are swinging back in, but there is a left behind player there, and looks to be DJ.
Yeah, DJ in that E50M, kind of in no man's land. There is Monster in support in K5, so probably DPMing from there at the moment, and DJ so far seems to be able to evade the majority of those 430Us, but what is he driving into? That is a Batchat and a BZ as the second tank on the cashback lineup falls. They still have not managed to kill DJ in that E50M. Will Brainbreaker be able to pick it up before DJ drives around the corner? I think he should have the reload. Never mind, DJ does make it around, so things are going from bad to worse for cashback.
Squeezy and the Batcha will close out the kill now against DJ, but the rest of the hit and run team rolling back in. Monster now coming as well from the K5 perch, rolling in. Piotr still leading the charge, but it's Tisek that comes up first, pushing back Little. Twilight seems to be the target of choice. That 4-2 that was taking the strike will have no success outside of putting it, and hits at least 2 targets with it. But now looking at it again, it's 6 on 5 here with hit and run having the advantage, picking up another gun. It's 3 down for cashback, but in return Barbarian finding a kill as well. Little and Brainbreaker now pushing down on towards Piotr and Tisek. They will make short work of Piotr. Good shooting there, but Monster coming back in as well with the CS63 wants to get Barbarian out of this game. Tisek should find the kill, but no, Barbarian will be first. And just like that, all of a sudden, it's turning around. Brainbreaker with the shield as well. Monster maybe a little too late into this battle, and now needs to run away from this altogether with the CS63. Gets tracked, gets held, does find the kill against Barbarian, and now Little with the high roll will shut it down, and it's Katsai and Fury, both one-shots against Brainbreaker and Little. And look at the heal coming in. Brainbreaker, if he goes above 400, it's a whole world of problems, but he doesn't.
I mean, 391 right now. If the E50M rolls exactly average, that would leave him on literally 1 HP. But for now, Katsai is going to pick up the info tower. Brainbreaker going for one as well. Sorry, the info tower. I meant to say the artillery strike. And this means that Brainbreaker is not sure all of a sudden anymore. Do I want to take this or not?
Yeah, he has the problem that Katsai has the planes. If he takes it, it will be problems. Katsai might try to deny the strike, but I'm not sure if... Yeah, he will. He will spot Little out and they will deny the strike, potentially. But that's not the one that they were hoping for, though. He's actually not going to deny it. They know that the information tower still needs to be taken, Kihan. And Little will just go take it by himself, though. I think that's the thing here, though. But the issue is that Katsai will probably try to take the tower, will end up getting striked, will try to dodge it, and then try to kill the one-shot. There comes the strike. It misses.
Indeed, strike getting used, and yeah, no kill notification. This means that the strike did miss. Katsai wasn't able to pick up the...
they will have it in 2 seconds.
The info tower, but yeah, exactly. This means that now Little all of a sudden is going to find himself in a 1 versus 2. Brainbreaker getting unspotted. Oh, the plane is going to catch him. And this is absolutely detrimental. Brainbreaker at this point in time, probably no boosts left in his tank. The T100 was able to do it, and Little taking so much damage for driving up here. Not sure, but I think he might have gotten set on fire. All of a sudden, Little is on a one-shot as well. Does spot out the 430U. The shot does not connect on towards the E50M of Pan's Fury, but Katsai still a one-shot 330. That is literally the min roll for 430Us in randoms, though. But yeah, Little, how is he going to play this one? He needs to get a kill. He has 5 minutes to do so, but he is also a one-shot now himself.
It's a one-shot to the E50M, though. He's not a one-shot to the T100. He lets a shot go back against Panzer Fury. Does want to take the hill, though. What does he opt doing here in that 430U? He knows that the T100 is above him. Katsai is, however, dropping off. Taking the approach towards potentially the strike, maybe.
I mean,
Little will...
this is all mind
This
games
is
at
amazing
this
for
point.
Little, though, if it ends up doing this way. Although it does seem like Ketsa is aware. He's not going to actually go for the strike. He might just counter it, though, or run away and go 1-2. Same thing.
I mean, let's see. Little now is looking for a strike of his own, and might end up finding it. This shot here, it was never meant to kill anyone. Obviously, nice is it if it does, but it was a spotting check being done by Little. He wants to find out if someone is actually in this bush here, and concludes there isn't. This means for him right now, it should be safe to take the artillery strike.
He will, but he's going to get tomfooleried on this, because Ketsa will sit on an outside of the strike. Left, right, or middle. He has opportunities. It's a bit of a gamble. Oh, he's actually not going to take the strike. They're just going to play around Little. Okay, they're not risking it, unless he goes back now.
I mean, they don't need to risk it at this point in time. It is problematic for them that Little has the strike, but he still needs to pick up an info tower to really make it count. Little at this point in time, of course, with no info whatsoever where the opponents could be at any point in time, and he doesn't really want to reveal his own position either. Oh, Katsai now with the spot. That is a very, very lucky timing. Little absolutely clueless about where he was spotted from.
Huh?
Maybe he supposes a little bit as to where it comes from.
Oh,
He's going to... Does he put it as the question? You can see, he's like, do I do it, do I not? He ends up not using the strike. It would have been... No, I think he was looking for a different location. I think he...
checked now, though. If he goes up and he gets spotted, I think he'll have a rough clue. That's the big question here. Like, now he's gonna get spotted. Let's see what he knows. He knows. Oh, but Katsai moved!
Oh my goodness.
We didn't see that. Katsai moved, actually. And now Little uses the strike and he will die. And I thought for a second Little was going to do something genius, but it's Panzer Fury to shut him down. We did not see Katsai sneak by at the same time. Little did figure it out at first, though.
Yeah, I mean, on the T100, low noise exhaust, I guess, pretty good equipment. 1v2s are very unlikely to win them. And I think probably when rewatching the replays, the players are going to find a lot of things that they could have done differently and improved upon. But still, like round number 1, this first cliff here was extremely close. Couldn't have been closer, in fact. And Hit once again managed to pull ahead. This means that Hit are on match point 3-0. If they lock in one more round, this would mean for them that they are the regular season Place 1 champions.
Yeah, they're actually doing very well for Hit and Run. Doing amazing, actually, if you ask me. They won this round as well. It started getting close there, and I think Monster made a real... He stopped damage, but he made a real fluff of it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think his play was kind of an oopsie there at the end. But when you have Panzer Fury and Katsai to carry it for you, then I guess no problem. And of course there are going to be some tanks that are on the low end of the scoreboard. Those are the ones in the shootout that get focused out earlier. And there you have, at the top of the board for Cashback, a Little. Kind of really unfortunate for him, because there was a real chance that he was going to be able to turn this game around, but it wasn't to be. I'm still not sure if he got set on fire on the ramp.
I am not sure if he got set on fire either, to be honest. But at the end of the day, all that matters, Gihan, is that Hit and Run closed it out in a very good way. And I really was hoping for Little to get the strike there. It would have been beautiful. But it doesn't. It's match point for Hit and Run.
Yeah, and I think Katsai in the T100 kind of figured out what Little was doing. He knew, obviously, that Little had a strike and that he was going to do spotting checks. And that meant that, Katsai understood, oh no, if I stay here, there is the real possibility of me getting striked. I need to move.
What are we going to see in terms of lineups now? I mean, it
is quite unpredictable, in my opinion, between both of those teams. anything could happen in terms of lineups.
Yeah, but how tilted is Cashback at this point?
Maybe slightly?
Slightly.
Slightly. I mean, yeah, the second Sand River round, I don't think they're too bothered by that. That is just how it sometimes goes. The first one, yeah, annoying. And this last round, extremely annoying. Because they had so much more HP to work with at the end in the 1v1. But, well, the BZ gets striked. The 430U possibly set on fire. Doesn't hit its strikes either. So now Cashback are backing up into a corner. They need to win this round if they want to stay in the match. Double BZ, double E50M, double 430U, and an RHM. I think it's fair to say triple BZ now even, that Cashback are looking for a brawl.
Yeah, hit and run in return, double 50B, an IS-7, triple CS63, and an RHM Panzer Wagon. They're kind of avoiding the brawl, right?
Yeah. I mean, they would be okay in a brawl against lighter tanks, but not against what Cashback has. Both teams, once again, with the LT, so are going to go for the information. Where they're going to plane. Beautiful plane by hit and run by Ketsai. 7 tanks spotted, and for the side of Cashback, 0 tanks spotted, but that information is also information.
And both teams meeting each other in the middle of the map. CS63s against E50Ms and 430Us. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Let's see how it plays out. Piotr moving in with the i7 as well. Actually moving in very much with the i7. Going for the complete and utter ram. Throwing his tank away in the process. They will focus him out from the side of Cashback, but Aka bites the dust in return immediately. Now these 50Bs are out of ammo though. Can they find another one of these DPM tanks before he gets to do his job? Squeezy will fall as well. And now DJ and Franek desperately trying to survive. DJ on fire as well, getting blocked by T-Sec, not letting him through. Hit and run trying to do this, but this is a brave task that they're trying to achieve against all of this DPM from Cashback. They need to find kills. They need to continue finding them. They will find Little, but at what cost?
Exactly, Little is gonna go down next, but T-Sec already down towards 750. Panzfury about to get killed as well, a strike coming down. And I think, Ducky, the tanks that Cashback have brought to this brawl in the middle of the map, they just favored them so much. The squishy lineup by hit and run not working out against the combined firepower of 430Us, all of them with their ability popped, and you could kind of see the idea of the sacrifice from Piotr that was coming out of there, right? He wanted to kind of draw all the fire on himself for his 50Bs and CS tanks to be able to do the damage, and it might have looked like a kind of weird play, but the idea was that the IS-7 soaks it all up, but that was sort of the only tank that was able to tank 4 hit.
As a result of this, Cashback will avoid at least 1 match point and pick it up. This was always going to be brave from hit and run, to be honest, trying to find a fight in the middle against DPM tanks with CS63s and 50Bs that clip and reload. It was very brave.
Yeah, it was weird to see the decision being made by Hit, because they had full information from the start of the battle as towards what kind of tanks Cashback was putting to the middle. And Cashback, I mean, they were playing blind, but they were driving towards the middle regardless. And upon then seeing with the crossing RHM what exactly they were up against, they were probably like, wait a second, hell yeah, we win this straight up.
I don't know. I really don't know, Kian. Like, I like the, you know, push first tactic from Piotr, you know, like I go in and then I scream at my teammates what to focus, but...
Nice touch. You're going to copy it for yourself, or...?
Keyhand. Between the two of us, which one is more likely to be used as a battering ram that only does 1 shot of damage?
That is only because you would be the one selecting me as the battering ram.
And why would I be selecting you as the battering ram, Keyhand?
Because you trust me to do the job well.
No, because I don't trust your aim.
Fair enough. All right. Still, though, the situation doesn't change. Hit still on match point. The map now changes, though, as Sand River gets picked up 2-0 by Hit. and Cliff gets split, we are going to go to Pilsen.
I actually have some beliefs in cashback on this map. I don't know why. I feel like if they were going to do it anywhere, it would be here.
Well, if they were going to do it anywhere, they need to be doing it here, because if they don't, then Hit wins the match. So that kind of limits the options for them. But yeah, Pilsen is a map that historically, I think, what comes to mind on Pilsen? Very good plays by cashback, and then sometimes Hit looking a little bit vulnerable also with... there is a particular T57 clip that springs to mind, 0 out of 4 on a mouse. I don't think the player is even on the Hit lineup anymore, but...
say the name.
Yeah, sometimes tragedy befalls Hit. Mentos, I think, was it, no?
I have no clue what clip you're referencing, so, you know, I sometimes, you know, I just think, you know, look at an old man rambling. Grandpa needs to take his medicine, you know?
It did actually happen. What the hell?
Sure, Grandpa, sure. You keep telling yourself that.
But yeah, Pilsen is going to place where things might get decided in between Hit and cashback. Keep in mind, guys, you're watching the current first Hit playing against the current second of cashback. But if cashback are able to make the full-on remontada, then they would switch spots. And they would also complete Duckies in my prediction. That's why I'm saying it.
Oh, well. You see, Kihan, that's where we differ. You're thinking about these kind of things and I don't even spend a thought on it, you know?
Well, the thing is, I'm sitting here in the office and in the streaming room, and there is Phil broadly smiling at me for the what feels like the entirety of the match since it started, because, well, Hit has the advantage right now.
I feel like Phil is always smiling. He's just a happy person, Kihan, and you're just a hater. Cashback, however, IS7, K91, Leo, double Fush B, EBR, and an RHM.
And for Hit, we do have the double mouse 277 E50M, double Fosh B, and an EBR. So double light tank by cashback on a map where a lot of super heavies are played. That is possibly not enough firepower, but they do have the double strike medium.
I don't know. Do you like it?
Not really, no.
I have a similar feeling.
I prefer Hit's lineup by far, actually.
Especially if Hit doesn't play towards 1, 2, 3, 4 line, but plays towards the east, I think I prefer it, because I think they can play with those E50Ms against those lighter setups there.
I mean, Barbarian once again getting sent towards K1, K2. He did have an exceptional game against W there, I believe. And ooh, Katsai taking a lot of damage in that EBR, still spotted out as Liberty is unable to connect a follow-up shot, but they're able to kind of screen away the light tank. As Monster takes a shot as well. However, Liberty, I don't think he has seen the E50M, now realizes like, oops, no, this is not where I want to go, and dips away. 400 damage taken, however. But
if we look at the purely HP-based setup, Key, see that Hit and Run is actually leading because of those lighter tanks that Cashback has, but they need to exploit it. And look at the move from Hit and Run. I think they suspect something to be at K2, because look at the mouses and the 277.
Yeah, Franek now driving away in that E50M, does spot out Squeezy, realizes he's not going to be able to cross without taking a lot of punishment for this, possibly as the Fosh Bs are starting to book it through the one-line. Liberty with a spotting run coming out, doesn't see anything so far. That's because in A0, the Fosh B of Pan's Fury so far has been back behind the corner. Arca taking a lot of damage from the Overlook as well. Liberty getting spotted out on the 0 line, taking 1, taking 2. That is a fully loaded Fosh B. Liberty still spotted, drives against the red line, and Katsai with the pickup.
And now the rest of the hit and run team starting to move in. The Mouse pushing across the open. The 277 already close to them as well. Barbarian, I think, is the K91 that's on K2 now starting to move in, starting to get some shots against that 277. But hit and run chasing down on towards Aka and the I7, who's dropping low. Now the Mouse is rolling in. The Roland Fortress through the field as Franek does take some shots. Piotr is now pushing in as well as a distraction. They want to make this work. I said we'll trade off against Piotr Piotr the one-on-one at the very least. But in return though, DJ in his mouse is already involved in the fight. Tisek coming in with the ram as well. They find Aka, the low HP, IS-7, Brainbreaker on 0 line in his Forge B, getting pushed now as well. Little on the runaway, Piotr will die, but what does it really matter in the grand scheme of things when they find another isolated target? This time it's Brainbreaker in his Forge B, who doesn't even have enough shells to kill Panzer Fury as he's reloading. Franek with the ram, with the shot from Ketsai to seal the deal. And today, Gihan, it does seem like Hit and Run have no intentions of going the distance with Cashback, as they have 6 tanks left standing versus the mere 3 from Cashback. Feels like an easy peasy lemon squeezy for them today.
Yeah, I mean, a little bouncing that shot on towards the mouse there doesn't help the situation either, of course. And DJ just baiting the shots at this point, waiting for Franek, who gets blocked by Tisek, to come in and save the day for him. Barbarian also getting found in that K91. No impact in the game whatsoever. Was split off towards the other side. That turned off not being important at all. Hans Fury moving in with the Foch, sweeping through Little. And now with only 2 tanks remaining for the side of Cashback, indeed, Hit and Run get a pretty, or a very clean match even, against Cashback here. And they are going to stay top of the scoreboard. 4 points for them, and I don't think they can be moved out of that position any longer. So from my side, congratulations, I guess, to Hit and Run for winning the regular season.
Yeah, winning the regular season. Something they haven't done before. Right? I think it was Cashback twice before. Maybe Cashback wants to avoid the curse from last season, you know, ending first, finishing second. Now they finished second to end first.
I mean, maybe. Then again, W are putting themselves in prime position for that slot number 4, from which they could complete another miracle run through the lower bracket. That is still a possibility. But yeah, first of all, let's take a look at the post-battle results, because realistically, it felt like in Sand River 1, in the Cliff round that they lost, and also in this round now, Cashback were trying to cook too much, realistically. They didn't have enough meat in their lineup. They were going for a lot of firepower, and in this Pilsen round, a lot of information as well with the double LTs, but you also need a front line in your lineup. You need something that's able to just hold, and they didn't have that, and so Hit were like, well, all right, what happens if we just drive at them? They won't really be able to do anything, right? And that's just what happened.
It's indeed the case, and they even brought the mouses in as well, and it's just like, well, you know, it is what it is. I think Cashback is going to realize that as well. You know, like first or second, they'll still have to beat everybody nonetheless. Hit and Run, however, goes into the playoffs, Gihan, depending on the next play day, of course, with a morale boost, right?
Yeah, indeed. It is not every day that you're able to beat the team of Cashback 4-1. Although more teams than usual.
But their win streak as well, though.
Yeah, their win streak, 5 win streak, is kind of crazy, right? But yeah, Hit is going to be confirmed place number 1 in the AMD OLS Season 3 regular season. Cashback second here. They might still get caught by W in the last playday, although W might still get caught by Mafia, who are sitting on 23 themselves. Actually, Mafia can still catch Cashback. That's kind of crazy. And yeah, the last day will have decisions in that regard, but it will also have a very important decision in between Darkside and Yogurt, 1 point apart in a league of their own, although they probably don't like hearing that at that point. The match in 2 days is going to decide everything. I was talking about the match in 2 days. That's obviously going to happen during the stream on Thursday, the 22nd of May. And after that, Phase 2 is going to be finished. Then we go into the real deal. Then we go into the final streams on Saturday and Sunday.
The big boy streams. Many finals, many semifinals, many drops as well. Gihan, everything that you could wish for on those weekend days. Don't forget, for your tokens, today is 5, Thursday 5, and then we have the big weekend finale, Gihan.
And as always, as you, the reminder, if you haven't been able to claim the 5 OLS tokens quite yet, or if you simply enjoy his content, we are going to be raiding
Impossible.
Ducky
The last
after
thing
the
is
stream.
impossible. The enjoying content, Kihan. I remember a day when Kihan used to be there, but now he has to be. Like, look, guys, it's 8:30. He has like 29 minutes left to get home and get to bed.
Absolutely. I mean, I have a very cozy bed with a very cozy blanket, and I just cuddle myself into it, and then, you know, that's a very nice thing. But I think for you, the working day is not going to be ended after this stream quite so easily. So thank you very much for casting with me, and also for casting with me on the coming Thursday. That will be a blast. We'll see you then. For now, bye-bye.
I have no idea when the last time was. Because it's not going to be the Ukrainian team of Cashback, the Ultimate Legends Series Season 2 winners. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket and cleaning up Cashback.